Good afternoon. Good afternoon. You are listening to Black Women's Leadership Council on onWURD Radio, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WordRadio.com. And a good afternoon to you, Emma and Rita.
Good afternoon, Joanne. How are you?
I'm making it.
I'm making it too. How about you, Miss Emma?
I know she's there.
She is there.
Okay, she's doing something. She seems like she's adjusting something.
But I don't think she can hear us.
Okay, so we'll get to get to her soon.
We'll get to her.
So I watch too much TV, you know.
Do you?
Yes, but I don't watch. I watch like MSNBC and
Right.
CNN.
Me too.
So last night, I guess I was watching the town hall meeting that Trump had, and I thought there were some very, very good questions, and clearly he's not prepared. It's just like clearly
He makes up responses.
Yes, but he doesn't care. He gets away with it. But I'll tell you what bothered me a little bit, and I want to talk to African American men today. Really do.
Absolutely.
Because there were two responses, and it was not at the town hall meeting, but Don Lemon interviewed back-to-back two black men.
I saw that.
And the second one, I think, was Philadelphia-based.
He was the pastor,
The
right?
pastor.
Right.
And while I thought he asked a superb question about what making America great, I just thought that the problem with that was that not with the question that he asked, because and I think that he stood his ground.
He was
really
clear.
Well. He was clear.
He was clear.
Precise, and I was saying, yeah, that's what we want to see.
Right.
It was what he said in the interview afterward with Don Lemon when he asked him whether, so what was his choice? Who was he going to vote for? Or something to that effect. And he said that he was undecided. So please, folks, tell me how you can be undecided.
Right, black men.
Black men specifically, not all. Some of you brothers, please explain the brothers who can say in this particular time, with black men being shot down and murdered in the streets, not that black women aren't getting beaten, murdered, and all the other stuff. And how is it that a person who was astute as the guy who asked the question be able to say that he was undecided and he might vote third party?
Right, but both of the black men.
The first one that was interviewed, because I can't think of these guys' names. But the first one, I pulled the article, so when we are on break, I'll pull the name. But the first one I could kind of understand because he was with Trump from the beginning.
Right, he was with him.
So he was backpedaling, because he was forced to have to confront the fact that he was once a supporter. And, he was trying to say all of the right things, and then he was saying about, well, I may vote third party. What is it that you don't understand about voting third party? If you vote third party, you are voting for Trump.
Right, and Don Lemon said that to both of them. And the first guy who Donald Trump called my African American, here's my African American.
And he's talked about how badly he felt about that.
Yeah.
And all of the stuff that he
went through because of it.
Yeah, well, he put himself in that position.
He put himself in that position. But he said that he had to vote his conscience, and that's why he was voting potentially third party. And Don Lemon asked him, just as well as he asked the pastor, you realize if you vote third party that that's a vote for Trump. And they both were like, rah, 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 but nothing made sense to me. They had no legitimate response to that.
Well, I'm trying to think of the pastor's name. He did say that he wanted to see an agenda, and he wasn't satisfied that there was an agenda on either side. I can't take this equivalency that keeps going on. And so what bothered me most was we are at a point where we need an agenda, yes. But we're at a point where the alternative to this is so bad.
Exactly.
That why would you even, let's quibble later.
Let's
get
quibble
this man
later.
out. Let's quibble later.
I mean, what if you don't hear the agenda you want to hear? What if you don't hear the issues addressed that you want to see addressed? Are you not going to vote to get Trump out of office? You'll never see anything if he gets back in office. You'll never see anything that was on your agenda.
When your life is on the line, I think you have to deal with a situation just a little bit differently. Anybody who's out there who knows exactly the gentleman I'm talking about, the pastor I'm talking about, would you call in and tell us the name? But I'm just not understanding that at all.
I don't understand that at all. I don't. And so the first guy who Trump called my African American, he said he wanted to vote his conscience. And then the pastor said he wanted to vote because he was holding out on identifying who he was going to vote with because he wanted to hear what the agenda was. And this late in the game, really?
Before we go to calls, that's you, Emma.
Yes, that's me.
Okay.
Hi, Miss Emma.
Yeah. I said it was so unbelievable. When you look at these people, you wonder what is going on in their mind. Why can't they see what the problem is?
Right.
And
Why
make
can't they
make
see?
a decision instead of talking about I'm undecided. And the part that got me was that one of them said, I'll just have to vote for a third party. I mean, what third party? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And any vote for anybody other than Biden and Trump is a vote for Trump.
Any vote other than Biden is a vote for Trump.
It's a vote for Trump.
It's a vote for Trump.
Right. That's right. And no vote is a vote for Trump.
Yes.
That's the other thing. If you don't vote, then that's also a vote for
It's
Trump.
also a vote for Trump.
And then you continue all these issues we're having with this man and him taking away all of our benefits and things that not only Obama put in place, but Johnson and others. He is trying to, right now, in court, take away the Affordable Care Act.
That's right.
So that's just one thing that he's working on. And think about what he tried to do at the post office and where we get our mail and our medicine. He tried to destroy that so that we had no access to vote by mail. I mean, the man is just ridiculous. And for anybody to be undecided at this point is just unbelievable.
Unconscionable.
Unconscionable. I think they're just not thinking. I don't get it. So maybe some of our listeners will call in and tell us what it is.
We have a few on the line, Emma.
You do?
Yes, in fact, all our lines are. So we're going to go to line one, Jacob in Albany.
All right. Peace be unto you, sisters. How
Peace
y'all
to you.
doing?
Peace be unto you.
Yes.
Yeah, you know what? I'm so glad we got some strong black women among us because I was shamed.
Oh.
I'm
It
being
was
honest.
It was embarrassing.
It was embarrassing.
And if I'm gonna tell you something, if I was a member of that pastor's church, I would find me another church because
I would
you
too.
need to tell me
I would too.
you undecided. That's like saying, Pastor, who you gonna vote for, God or Satan?
Exactly.
And he's undecided.
I don't know yet. I'm making up my mind. And then didn't Trump come for us the next day and thank black people for not voting? Right?
Yes.
And then they're going to put Kanye West with his crazy self up there, and black people got the nerve to be dumb, but I think I'm going to write in Kanye. I mean, it shows me
It's ridiculous.
these people don't know how politics work. It's more than your vote. But it shows me you don't even know how politics work. Y'all said, my mother had a saying. She said, you so smart, you dumb.
That's right.
You know? I mean... You're
I like that.
here's a man that's been proven to be. He's in my lifetime, and I'm a senior now, right?
Right.
This man, I have not seen a grand wizard, a grand dragon of the Ku Klux Klan that represent them better than Donald Trump, right?
Absolutely.
That's the truth.
And you mean to tell me I got to think about it? The way this man is doing, he's just a liar. You know, we were taught when I was in Bible school, though I'm a Muslim now, but the devil is a liar, right?
Right.
This man is recorded what, 20,000 lies that they can go to that's on record. We ain't talking about the lies he told Melania while they laying on the pillow or something, you know.
That's right.
Exactly.
My thing is, thank God for y'all strong black women who, I guess if I was that boy mama, she should pop him upside the head and say, you done lost your mind. So,
That's what I felt. I couldn't believe him. I was
I
like,
couldn't
no, he
believe
didn't
it
say
either.
that.
oh my goodness, I almost fell out when he said you undecided, bro? And are you a real pastor or what is going on? You know, that you have to be undecided about what we see in this 45th president of the United States and the way he think about and talk about black people. And he lied when he say I've done more for black people than. That's the biggest lie ever told.
That was the worst. That was the worst.
Hurt us than anybody else. That's what it is.
But you know what? They're promoting Bob Woodward's book, and he gets him right on tape, and he tells people to draw their own conclusion. Although I hear at the end of his book he draws a conclusion, and he says he concludes that Donald Trump is the wrong man for the job.
He said that this morning.
Right.
He said that this morning on NBC.
The Morning Joe show, yeah.
Right.
And he actually came out and said, in other words, if y'all say y'all love this country, and I'm talking about white folks now that get a problem when somebody needs when the national anthem, you love this country so much, but you're going to let it go to pot with this Russian agent.
That's what he is.
Look, I'm gonna leave with this. It's a saying. They used to say, "You a liar, your feet stink, and you don't love your Jesus." Thank you.
Thank you for your call. Line 2, Brenda from South Philly.
Yes, good afternoon, ladies.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Brenda.
I saw the Trump with the voters, and I also saw Don Lemon's interviews with the 2 African-American men.
Right.
And I would like for you to please use this time and a portion of your program every Wednesday to explain to everyone, not only the African-American pastor, why a vote for a third-party candidate is a vote for Trump. Because I'm going to assume that the African-American pastor did not know, and that there are perhaps other people in our community who do not understand how a vote for a third-party candidate is a vote for Trump. Also, I think the African-American pastor, as well as others, need to understand, do a compare-contrast, Trump policies and Joe Biden's policies. And when the African-American pastor said that what is the black agenda? Again, maybe the pastor did not look on Joe Biden's website, because there is a black agenda on Joe Biden's website. And then also last week, one of Joe Biden's senior advisors, Simone Sanders, was on onWURD and was specifically focused on the black agenda. So I just want to ask, because, you ladies have the platform, I don't. Can we, because there's probably others out there, in addition to this African-American pastor, who are considering a third-party candidate and who is perhaps, they don't know where to find the black agenda. Okay. And then I'll close with this. There was a worker, I go to the Y, and one of the staff people said to me, she also felt Trump was better than Biden. Woo. So I'm giving another example of someone that, and I did my best in talking with her, compare contrast between Biden and Trump. But sad to say, there may be members of our community out there who either lack information, they need to do an examination of their thought process and reasoning. But, you ladies have the platform, so use your platform to help this African American pastor and others, because we know if we have more third-party candidate voters, that Trump is going to win, and sad to say, we are going to lose. You follow me, ladies?
I follow you. We're moving to a break, but I just want to say this to you, Brenda. We have dedicated, all of our shows up until Election Day to deal with this upcoming election. And we're working with, Women Connected group who's going to put together a show on getting out the vote. But in one of our previous shows, we had a discussion with the former Councilwoman Marion Tasker, who said much of what you said, that we have to do the contrast, list, why, all of the things, remind people constantly of all of the things that Trump has done, and do the contrast between them. And we're going to do this, and we're going to enlist the audience, the listening audience, to be helpful to that as well. So we hear you, and thank you for your call. You're listening to Black Women's Leadership Council on WURD Radio, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURD Radio, and we'll be right back.
Weather and traffic to keep you informed for your drive home in the happy hour with Sincerely Sarita, Monday through Thursday 4 till 7 p.m. right here on WURD Radio 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
Pico has many ways to help you lower your energy usage and save money at home. Here's one. If your heating and cooling system is more than 20 years old, it may be time for your contractor to replace it with a high-efficiency Energy Star certified model. You'll get a rebate from Pico and save on your monthly electric bill. You'll find a list of new heating and cooling system rebates at pico.com/rebates. Or you can call 1-888-5-PICO-SAVE for all the details. Plus, find instant discounts on smart thermostats and more at pico.com/marketplace. There's free shipping on orders over $49. What's up, everyone? I know you know the word, no, not the station, but this word, J-O-B, that is, and our friends at Amoroso's Baking Company are hiring right now. Amoroso's has been baking the delicious bread in our community for over 100 years, and they want you to join their team today. The old and the young love Amoroso's, and they are hiring right now. Check it out. They offer fair pay and provide health, dental, and prescription plans after 90 days employment. Call 856-754-0355 or visit amorososbaking.com for details.
You're listening to The Source with Black Women's Leadership Council on WURD Radio.
Streaming live on WURDRadio.com and the WURD Radio app.
It's a vision in my mind. The laws never passed, but somehow all men feel they're truly free at last. Have we really gone this far through space and time? Or is this a vision in my mind?
You're listening to Black Women's Leadership Council on WURD Radio, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDRadio.com. And it's time for, it's 1:27, and I got to get the temperature for you here. 70 degrees. Brought to you from the Beach Companies with 30 years of serving our community. Check out the website for a free Black business directory and our community resource directory. So we're going to go back to the line, and we have Rob, I think it's North Philly.
Yeah, how you doing, ladies?
How you doing?
Hi.
Good afternoon.
Hi, Bob.
Good, thanks. First of all, those two guys made no sense at all. You know, this is say like it is. I mean, they came off pretty in solidarity and on with some of the things they were saying in the beginning of the interview, but they wrapped it up with a but. And but, as far as I know, eliminates everything you said prior to it.
Right.
It's no way you can just throw out something like, okay, I'm going to support Trump. I'm going to vote for Trump. But make some sense of your choice. Make some sense of why you're going to choose this guy. You know, his appointment of judges. You can go with the Kanye West and his wife, and they work with them, and they got a couple of people out of jail. But what about the judges that are being installed by this guy who are going to put 10 times as many people in jail because of their policies?
Right.
We don't understand how to play chess in this political game. We're really dumb, and that's what most of these people are. They're just dumb and they're lazy, and they don't do the work because they're smart enough to know, you know, how to go about doing the work and researching the candidate, but they're dumb when it comes to going all the way and finding out exactly how this will affect us in the future, or not just us, our children or our grandchildren. When a person makes a choice about, let's say you get in a car accident and somebody refer a lawyer to you that's going to get you the most money on their lawsuit, you don't ask about his family or his political views or did he support this or that. You just say, okay, this is the guy that's going to affect my future and get me some economical gain. Well, what we're doing with the presidency is much more important than that, and it actually asks those questions. Economical gain, how is this guy going to impact the future? And they're too lazy to go the next mile to try to figure that out. You know, it's even when you accept a job. Most of us have worked in companies that we know were no good when it came to racism and fairness. But if the job paid right and they treated us with some respect, we took the job. So the same way you make those choices, these choices for president are much more crucial. Make the same choice the same way. How it's going to impact your future and your economics with your family. And thank you for allowing me to talk.
We love that. Thank you, Rob. We're going to go to line 4, Viola in North Carolina.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, Viola.
Viola.
I'm great. I just had to call. The pastor's last name was Day, D-A-Y, I assume.
Right.
Okay.
Yes, I didn't know whether anyone said it. But
No one said it yet.
Okay, I went to poll yesterday in Delaware. Wellington, Delaware carries a strong Democratic vote because I've been there 17 years, and I think we have had a Democratic governor and senator for the 17 years I've been there. I think it was Governor Minto. She was the governor when I moved there. And Sussex County is a strong Republican county. We had 500 people come out to vote in the primary. I think I may have only seen 30 black folks. And most of them live in that area where I live. I took a job at the polls so I could see where the people were.
Right.
And I mean, a lot of them don't vote. I work with a lady at the school board. At the school, I said, do you realize that somebody voted in order for you to have this job?
Exactly.
Her husband votes. Her son votes. She has no reason to vote. I think she's Seventh-day Adventist, but I don't know whether that has anything to do with it. But I just feel as though that out of almost 500, it was like 487 people. Out of that many people, I just thought I was going to see more African Americans. There were some new faces and young ones, and I'm hoping that they're looking at it in a way that they know they got to get out and vote because they know how powerful. But whereas Sussex County, Republican, oh my gosh, my neighbors are Republican. They have meetings in their garage like every other night. When I see them gathered, I say, oh, my gosh, they must be having a Republican meeting. Next door to me, they're Republicans. Guy comes in there with his Republican cap on and was rather rude to the man that I was working with, who is a Democratic white guy. But it doesn't matter about what color you are. Folks that are writing in a vote, I hate to say it, but they're downright stupid. Because I didn't vote until I was 21 years old. But I surely learned a lot about voting, that if you write in a vote, you may as well vote for the person that you don't want.
Absolutely.
That's right.
That's exactly right. You wasted your vote. You wasted your vote.
Kanye West knew what he was doing when he decided that he's going to run so that he can take some of the votes, which people will look at him as a professional entertainer and vote for him because they like his songs, but not think about they're giving their vote away to Trump. I wouldn't care if Biden picked his wife to run with him. I know that I was not voting for Trump.
And we would think that most sane people would take that position, considering I don't know where everybody's been that could even remotely consider voting for Trump. Where have they been? What country have they been living in for the last 3.5 years?
I can't even repeat what the guy said last night working with me at the polls, but he said something, and I said, oh, wow. I said, well, I didn't think it that way. I said, but the poor man, he done gained weight, he done changed his hair color, and his mind is going bad, but he won't even die of natural causes. and I'm giving God credit based on the fact that if natural causes could take him away, that won't even take him away. Because he has a strong will of making sure that he gets a point across and that he's going to win this election. But I tell you, every single person that disagrees with everything, even like down to a man telling me he don't believe in abortion. I asked him, I said, well, have you ever had a baby?
Exactly.
I love it. That's right.
And he looked at me. But I look at it this way. If a black woman and a white woman got all the money in China, they can get an abortion any day, anywhere they want to. They don't have to have a law against or for it. Because they can do what they want because they got the money.
Right.
I can't see a person voting for a person because you don't believe in abortion, so you're going to vote for him. Oh, come on. How many times, or maybe how many has he paid for it?
And that was precisely my thinking. His character, there's so many things that you could look at that you don't even have to guess at that have been proven about him.
Mm-hmm.
And for people to take positions on the basis of their religious convictions, and they want that particular man, it doesn't. I think, overall, and folk don't want to say this, on the media, but most people who make that choice are making that choice because they're voting their white privilege. They don't want to lose the privilege. Right. And it doesn't matter what he does. It doesn't matter, they call themselves fiscally conservative until Trump spends up all of the money and does what he wants to do. They're ultra religious. He comes and turns the Bible upside down and, and can't even make Bible quotes. And the religious right thinks that he's religious. No, what they think he is, they think he's the guy that will protect their whiteness.
That's right. And that's his message. That is his message. That's the hidden message behind make America great again.
I need to tell you another thing, that his youngest son is autistic. I have been around many of autistic children. I have a cousin that's 14 years old. I've had a child that I used to babysit for, and his son is autistic. He couldn't keep his arms still the entire time he was standing up there next to his mother. And then what he did was he waited for them to give him a sign for the next thing to do. Donald Trump has a lot of nerve to tease and raise a person that has a special needs problem. He has a lot of nerve, and his son is autistic.
I had believed that the son had autism, and I feel sorry for that, and don't blame that child at all. And thought that the mother was doing everything that she could to protect him.
Right.
It's very unfortunate. We only get a view from afar, but he did not seem, not the son. Trump did not seem to be attentive to the son.
No, not at all.
And when Obama was in the White House, you knew he loved his children.
Right.
He talked about them endlessly, and he was a father.
Yes.
And I don't see any displays of affection and love and father-son stuff from him. The only thing that I think that people can see is the adoration that he has for his daughter.
For Ivanka.
Yes, and that doesn't seem healthy.
No, because he will hug and kiss and touch Ivanka. He doesn't even touch his other sons. He doesn't.
And he brags about her.
He brags about her.
And the other daughter.
And the other daughter. He doesn't pay her any attention at all either. Mm-hmm. Only Ivanka.
How about using the word lust? That's what he has.
Yes, I would say that seems to come across.
That's so. Ugh.
Yeah,
I know you ladies have to be careful of what you say, and I understand that. But I'm just a caller. I can say what I want.
That's right.
Listen, Viola, we've gotten in trouble a great deal in this past year for saying what we want, We've been called rabble-rousers, and I tell people when you come on, this is the place you come to lose your reputation. Because we...
I have no intentions of losing my reputation because of the fact that I will be 73 years old, September the 27th. I'm on my way to Texas to a wedding, and I'm driving. I left about 5 o'clock.
You're driving?
And I've already driven 380.
Are you by yourself?
Yes, I am.
Oh, you go, girl. You just go, girl.
Right?
All right.
I am.
But see, women are fearless. Fearless.
That's right.
Oh, listen. My mother was a driver, and if you don't know nothing about a car, you can't be Dorothy Boulder's daughter. So I know what I need in the sense that I told my niece that. She never looked underneath the bottom of under the hood of her car. I said, you didn't? That's why her car is dead, because she didn't know anything about it.
No.
Well, listen, we appreciate your call, and we're going to have to go to...
I said what I had to say.
Thank you, and have a safe trip, traveling mercies.
I don't call, but I surely do listen to you.
You call now, because we like hearing from you.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you. You're listening to Black Women's Leadership Council on Word Radio, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on wordradio.com. We'll be right back.
As a business owner, hiring and developing people from the community that your company serves is one of the best ways to show commitment to that community. Let Word Radio help with Livelihood, our new initiative that connects Philadelphians with companies like yours. We'll feature your business, open employment opportunities, and resources to connect your company with talent and ensure that you reach your target demographic. To learn more about how Livelihood can help you build your team, visit wordworks.com. That's WURD works.com. Livelihood is supported by the Nightland Fest's Local News Transformation Fund, Borealis Philanthropies Racial Equity and Journalism Fund, and the Solutions Journalism Network.
The North Star Convention is a statewide event where concerned citizens, lawmakers, union, and community leaders are collectively working together to create an agenda that will address systemic issues in the Black community throughout the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Thursday, September 17th, from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., Councilman Isaiah Thomas and Aliquippa Mayor Dwan Walker will be hosting a forum on education. Go to northstarconvention.com to register for the free convention.
Want the latest in Word swag? Check out the shop tab on wordradio.com. Hoodies, tees, and more in a variety of colors. The shop tab on wordradio.com. Show the world that you're all about Black. Talk Media.
Family Therapy Vignette Moments with Dr. Lucille Ijoy. A couple wants to get married during this pandemic time. They've had spiritual counseling, guidance from their families, and they feel ready. Well, the therapist says, just be wise about your health and the health of your family and your guests, and take it step by step.
You're listening to The Source with Black Women's Leadership Council on Word Radio.
Streaming live on WordRadio.com and the Word Radio app.
Walking down the street, smuggy eyed, looking at the sky, starry-eyed, searching for the place, weary-eyed, crying in the night, teary-eyed. Don't you know that it's true, that for me and for you, the world is a ghetto. Don't you know that it's true, that for me and for you, the world is a ghetto. Wonder when I'll find paradise.
You're listening to Black Women's Leadership Council on Word Radio, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on wordradio.com. And we're back, and we have a full board here. We're going to go
Good.
to line one, Reverend Barclay from North Philly.
Hello, ladies. It's Reverend Bankole.
Barclay, okay.
Calling in with one black preacher's opinion.
All right.
What I'd like to do, what I really called in for was to tell you ladies why I initially supported Biden in the primary, and why I'm comfortable with my choice now. Really comfortable with my choice now. But first, I'd like to say a couple of things. One is with these preachers, with the people yesterday undecided. I didn't see the program, but that stuff gets on my nerves. But this is not a black male or black preacher thing. It's a knucklehead thing.
Okay.
Okay. And
Okay.
That's what it, very bluntly. And the radio programs and especially WURD shouldn't be giving them any extra time. Okay. And folks have bought into this whole narrative that Democrats and Republicans are the same. And while that might have been true in different times, this is not the time to be having that analogy and that argument.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So having said that, I supported Biden early in the primary for four reasons. One, I thought Biden could beat Trump, and we don't have to. We shouldn't be having to elaborate on why that's extremely important. Okay. But number two, I thought that Biden could help us keep the Congress and help us. Number three, I thought that we as a people, black folks, would have more leverage with Biden because Biden owes us.
Right.
And number four, I thought, and this is very important if you want to win and don't just want to make some emotional statement, I thought that he wouldn't scare a middle white America.
Okay, well, so I want him to win. I don't want to just say I want this guy and get emotionally involved, and then he still doesn't win. Now, This is why I'm really comfortable with my choice. I'm really comfortable with my choice was, first of all, he chose a solid black woman, okay, as his running mate. So he held true to his word, okay, starting to deliver, just a little bit, but he started to deliver. Number two, he does have a black agenda. Now, it's not just an outline, but if somebody has a plan, now they can go say, well, Biden, you said you're going to do such and such, and I got a plan to help you make that happen. Number three, he would bring decency and honor back to the White House. And then finally, number four, now is the time for black folks to make their final push towards full emancipation. Now is that time. Before we might have had business opportunities, but we didn't have the political acumen. Or we might have had spiritual strength, but now we got all three. We got no excuse. If we buckle down right now, you either vote for Biden or you're voting for Trump.
That's right.
Bottom line.
Just that plain.
Right. Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
just that plain. Yes.
Absolutely.
Very well said, Reverend.
That's right. A no vote is a vote for Trump. A vote for a third party, libertarian, whatever you want to call it, is a vote for Trump. Because unless you're voting for Biden, like you said, Reverend, it's a vote for Trump. It's just that simple. It's just that simple.
Can I say one other thing?
We didn't hear the last part. I think you faded out.
Hello. Am I still on?
Yes, you're on.
Yes.
Okay. Just one other quick analogy. It's kind of like as a people, we say, guys in particular, but y'all talking about men, guys in particular, like the sort work on their abs. They say, well, look, I want to get a six-pack. Okay, so we say to get a six-pack, you got to exercise. So a guy, he spent a year doing jumping jacks, and he doesn't get no six-pack. Because jumping jacks will not help your abs. They won't give you a six-pack in your abs. I'm not going to do no more exercising at all. Because I did jumping jacks all year long, and I didn't get no six-pack. No, what you do is you still do your jumping jacks because you're good for the cardiovascular, but now you sophisticated enough to say, well, now I got to do abs. So we have to become, at this particular point in time, a little bit more sophisticated. And it's not an either or. We got to be able to chew gum and walk at the same time.
Well, Reverend, I like your analogy. Is that part of your sermon on Sundays?
It's always been part of my sermon. When God called me, I asked the Lord, "Are you sure you want me?" Because we can be black in all the places we occupy, and it's not about a hate thing. I tell both of my sons, we don't hate anybody. We just love who we are.
Yeah.
And so you don't have to. I wear dashikis. I'm not gonna say I don't, but you don't have to wear dashiki 24/7. Be black in all the spaces you occupy. You be laughing at no jokes. You don't let people talk nonsense around you. Right. You can be respectful. You can speak the King English without talking through your nose. Mm-hmm. So one of we just got to get to that place in my YouTube channel. That's what I focus in on. Now is the time. We just got to be real and be honest. With all this soft shoe stuff, we got to tap dance for everybody. We got to say, oh no, well I don't want to be the Black American. I just want to be American. Nobody else has to do that.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
Well, we got to move on, but we want to thank you for your call, and please keep calling. Line 2, Derek from Colorado.
Yes, I just want to make several comments. I'll have some questions to ask you. My first one would be real quick, as my friend, she's originally from Texas anyway, she wound up getting coronavirus in Texas. She wound up being hospitalized in Texas. And so they were really concerned. She was on, what is it called, thing that breathes for you?
Ventilator.
And ventilator, yeah, she was on a ventilator. And my friend who lives here in Colorado, she went and spoke to her ex-husband, and she says, and her ex-husband says, you know something, he was under the impression that it was a hoax. And I said, oh my goodness, I am not going to talk. He just said, I'm not going to talk to you anymore. You are, he told me, he's a total moron. He's just going to vote with the guy. He's no longer a Christian, and that's good. It's a good thing to hear, but your wife almost died. So that's the kind of thing you're dealing with. And also, another comment would be 13% of black men voted for him, and he's probably getting even more black men voting for him this time. It's just my feeling. And they tell me the first ones, a lot of people had talked about the abortion thing. Next one would be the 1994 crime bill, and number 3 would be the immigration thing, and all those names right there is that she's a prosecutor, and she's a woman.
That's what I think it is.
And there's a lot of sexism in the black community. People do not like to talk about. Don't get angry at me.
No, I believe it. I believe it. There is a great deal of. I was going to raise that very thing.
Yeah.
That because Trump believes that there is some softness in the black male vote as opposed to the black female vote, and that's soft. He doesn't need all of it. He just needs to chip away at some of it. And the way that you do it is to appeal to the sexism.
Right.
Yep.
This is what I said. This is what I'm fighting is with some of the black guys I know, and some of these people are like the big two things are some of the ones talk about the crime bill, 1994 crime bill. I can't vote for Joe. He threw a lot of the brothers in jail.
Yeah, well, Trump is getting them shot on the street.
And he said
every day. He's getting them shot.
Trump was saying, and
his
Trump
law and order. Kill blacks.
Some of these people. Yeah, the reason why he let some of these people out is because he's appealing to those kind of elements because he can say, "Why let some of these people out of jail?" But like I said, that's why he let some of these people out of jail. He had some of these crimes, like anything. He probably doesn't even believe in what he's doing anyway. But it's something to, like he said, something to gather him votes anyway. And one last comment, I'll let you go. Somebody was telling me, somebody came to my house. He's a white guy. Was telling me that there was two things I'll pass on to you. That there was this guy doing. He was a He was a lawyer in Vail, Colorado, around that area. Trump wanted to do some kind of work. He wanted to build some kind of thing there, development. And so he told his lawyer, look up all the information. You got water rights and all this other kind of stuff. And real quick, the lawyer comes back and said, we can't do what you want to do. And Trump says, you're going to either do it my way, I'm not going to pay you. So he doesn't even pay this guy. Guy's been on there for 1 month. And so he says, can he take him to court? And he said, well, you realize how Trump would work the legal system around him? This is before he became president. And then there's another thing, too. So this guy had passed out. He did golf clubs, private golf clubs in California. He was just telling me that these are upscale ones, and he was just telling me that he was asking. He said one of his friends was asking him. Now I understand that your father can't get financing because a lot of banks have stopped dealing with him because he never paid them. And he went to Deutsche Bank, and then he said, well, where are you getting this money from? And to buy all these golf courses and all these other kind of things. And his son tells him, well, we're borrowing the money from Russia, and the Russians are giving us cash. Now, this is, so the Russians are giving him cash, so that's why he's able to go out there, but he bought some golf courses in Ireland and Scotland. I mean, so there's a lot of things with that whole Russian thing.
It is really, it's worthy of a discussion one day. They've been chasing that down, and that's why he won't release his taxes. We have to go to break.
There's going to be a whole bunch of things that come out there.
That's right.
That's
right.
The guy was saying, if he doesn't become elected, what he'll do is he'll become like a Rush Limbaugh, he'll be bashing Joe Biden every day. He'll get some people so.
Well, I'm hoping that he will be doing that from his jail cell.
Yeah.
Listen, we appreciate your call. We have to go to break. You're listening to Black Women's Leadership Council on Word Radio, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on wordradio.com. We'll be right back.
Weather and traffic to keep you informed for your morning commute on Wake Up with Word. Weekdays 7 a.m. till 10 a.m. hosted by Solomon Jones. Right here on Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
He knew. Donald Trump knew how deadly COVID was months ago, and he lied about it. Just listen.
Now it's turning out it's not just old people, Bob. Just today and yesterday, some startling facts came out. It's not just older young people, to plenty of young people.
Donald Trump knew as early as February just how deadly COVID was, before anyone even died, and he did nothing about it. His indifference cost tens of thousands of black lives.
It goes through air, Bob. You just breathe the air. That's how it's passed. It's also more deadly than even your strenuous flus.
Nearly 200,000 dead. 1 in 5 are black. This virus is literally killing us, and Trump did nothing to stop it.
Well, I think, Bob, really, to be honest with you, I wanted to always play it down. I still like playing it down because I don't want to create a panic.
Too late, Mr. President.
I'm Joe Biden, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Biden for president.
Keystone First VIP Choice HMO SNP Dual Eligible Special Needs Plan has a 4 out of 5 star rating and is one of the highest rated Medicare plans in the region. Keystone First VIP Choice and you are better together. If you live in Philadelphia, Bucks, Chester, Montgomery, or Delaware County, and you have both Medicare and Medicaid, choose the Medicare plan that is working to help you get better care. Enjoy extra benefits at no cost to you with Keystone First VIP Choice. You get benefits like dental, vision, and transportation to and from your medical appointments. They also cover a fitness membership to a gym of your choice. $150 toward over-the-counter pharmacy items. There's no copay for doctor's visits. They offer a large provider network, a great prescription plan, dental coverage, and even eyeglasses. Plus, you don't have to wait for open enrollment. You can change your coverage every quarter. Keystone First VIP Choice. The name you trust, the service you deserve. Call Keystone First VIP Choice today at 1-877-686-1760 or visit KeystoneFirstVIPChoice.com.
Home of the Happy Hour. With Sincerely Sarita. This is Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia. Streaming live at wordradio.com and on the Word Radio app.
You're listening to The Source with Black Women's Leadership Council on Word Radio.
Streaming live on wordradio.com and the Word Radio app.
Tomorrow, yesterday.
listening to Black Women's Leadership Council on Word Radio, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on wordradio.com. And we're back, and we're going to go directly to line 3, Tyrone, North Philly.
Well, good afternoon, my queen.
Okay, Tyrone. I was telling somebody over the weekend how that we got on you for cheating on us.
And there's no way. I am your humble servant.
Oh.
And never will I ever desert you or cheat on you.
All right.
Please don't. Please.
We're going to hold you to it, Tyrone.
Well, first of all, let me say peace and blessings to everyone. And
peace and blessings to you.
Peace and blessings to you, Tyrone.
Yes, to my WURD family and all the progressives across the world. You know, as your humble servant, I must report to you that we have a renegade, not only outside of the council, but even outside of the kingdom. And this renegade is running around telling everyone that he can do, and he has done more for your folks than almost Abraham Lincoln.
That's right. That's what he said.
He said ever before.
Yeah.
Also, he's an individual who continues to bring this distinction, separation. He's self-absorbed, self-centered, and the only thing that matters to him is him. So my question, my queen, should I just let him continue to just run rampant and do his thing? Or should I go and capture him and bring him in for y'all to teach him a better way of life?
Well, I think we can do that at the voting booth.
That's right.
Okay.
I think what we need to do is that we need to exercise the power that we have. And in any way that we can vote by mail, deliver get the ballot, and bring it back, and hopefully we'll get an update today, or we be prepared to go to our polling places. There should not be one living, abled body over 21 in the city of Philadelphia that does not cast a vote.
Well, my queens, I will make sure that that is the message from the kingdom. And the most ludicrous thing that this renegade is saying, that out in the West, where the forests are burning down,
yes,
he's telling those folks there they need to manage their forests. So that's just like telling the folks who are in hurricane season they need to control the wind, and those folks who are caught up in the flood, he's telling them they've got to build better dams. Ladies and gentlemen, this renegade has lost his mind.
See, here's Tyrone. Tyrone, here's where I differ with you. I don't know that he's ever had it.
Yeah, because he believes his lies. He believes it.
And that's why he's lost his mind, because he believes everything he's saying.
Yes.
But the most disturbing thing, he got folks out there that were following him tooth and nail. Love y'all.
Love you.
Thank you, Tyrone.
Love you back. So
he
we're
has
gonna
folks out there that believe in his lies. He can lie. He just lies about everything. He twists everything that anyone says. He tries to twist it to a positive.
Yes.
When in fact it's horrible. All the 195,000 people dying. And he's saying, well, it'll go away when it gets cold.
He says it'll go away. You know, it'll go away. It'll go away.
It'll go away. As it gets colder, the virus will go. He just downplayed the virus all along, even though is killing so many people.
And he knew how dangerous it was and how lethal the virus was. He knew.
The very interesting thing is that on that tape, that Bob Woodward's tape, he speaks with such clarity of understanding what this was all about. It wasn't, it was, you were almost surprised it was him making sense.
Right.
That he understood this is airborne, this is dangerous. And he said all of these other things, and then the next day he comes out, oh, it's not a problem.
Right, it's going to go away.
It's going to go away.
But
and
you have to remember.
Don't forget, he don't want you to wear a mask.
That's right.
No mask is necessary.
You have to remember that there are a lot of people out there who need to follow someone. They are vulnerable and they need to follow someone. So they will follow anyone that makes sense to them because they're weak and need to follow someone.
But he doesn't make sense. I don't think he makes sense to anyone. They're just following him because he's in the White House and he looks like he's powerful. And he's more like a TV, his reality show or his show that he had before was perfect for his personality because he's such a phony. He's a phony all the way through.
All around.
I can't get over the way he just lies through his teeth.
He'll make anything up.
If our kids did that, as one of your earlier callers said, if our kids lied like he did, we'd slap them upside the head and tell them to stop lying.
That's right.
But this man goes on, and the sad part is that's why our vote is so important. The sad part is all those senators that are following him and letting him lie and not contesting the lies.
They're afraid of him.
That's the scary part. So we have to vote not only for the president, we need to vote down ticket. We need to make sure we vote for all those offices. And
absolutely.
In the next hour, Emma, we should talk a little bit about it. We have a full board now. We're going to go to Mary from Mount Airy, line 4.
Okay. Yes, good afternoon, ladies.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mary.
You know, people are gullible, some of them, and they need to think to themselves, am I better off now than the way that I was 4 years ago? You know, before this man got into office, you know, anybody that comes to you and say that they filed bankruptcy 6 times and not showing you their tax return, what do you think that the country was in store for? You know, and it should be a policy where not only people are knowledgeable before they get in these positions, but also we should make it a point where Congress has to go through some type of training classes. And Boehner, I remember he said that he was going to do this before he resigned because he saw where we were getting Congress people in that did not know the laws that govern this country. Right. It was no need for a third-party system because we took care of everything. You know, people, when you had Bernie Sanders going around saying that he wanted people to get $15 an hour, and we have Helen Gim in Philadelphia saying the same thing, an AOC saying the same thing, and we entered the earned income tax credit where we would put a person above the national poverty guideline. You know, people not filing their taxes, they're thinking that they're getting over on the system, but they're getting over on themselves. People making $10 an hour, $10.50 an hour, we bring you up to now $17 an hour based on the earned income tax credit. In Philadelphia, we've been losing $100 million a year. You know, and it sickens me to hear this. We even provide money from businesses to make sure they keep their good employees in place. People need to stop cheating themselves. Know the laws that govern you. You know, when you're paying taxes, you should know what you're paying it for. And you should know what these taxes are for. You know, we have city council allowed this to go on for years, decades. I remember when I asked Kenny, when we had the reciprocal city wage tax, we were the only city in this country that had this for decades. He did not know the laws, cheating ourselves. Now we have Wolf in place with reciprocal state taxes. And now New Jersey canceled theirs. I think we're the only state that has this now. So people need to realize when you have politicians in place that don't know the laws themselves, they're sitting up there fronting. Bernie Sanders needs to be ashamed of himself. He's been acting like he's the Pied Piper for our young people. You know, if they paid their student loans, we would give them back their money and give them additional money. I've seen where we give a person that, a single person, $7,000 when she filed her taxes and she was only making $10 an hour. And can you imagine 3 years where you didn't file your taxes and you missed out on it? People need to realize when you don't know the laws and you have these people in place based on personalities, now we need to make sure that Congress go over those laws that Trump dismantled, because it takes Democrats and Republicans to put those laws in place. And the next president is going to have to reinstate all those laws because Trump did it illegally, and he needs to go to jail for all this negative and false information that he provided to the American people. He owes China. This is why he's pushing this agenda against China, because he owes China a fortune, he owes Russia, and he owes Saudi Arabia. It's easy for him to go to war with China than to pay his debt back. And the country owes China a lot of money. So people need to realize when you put people in place that's only looking out for their own personal agenda, their own personal wealth, then we have a problem in this country. And Congress, I want you to do your job, take back your war powers. That's what you need to do, and stop sitting up there fronting. Thank you, and have a good day.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you, Mary.
Going to line one, Maurice from Southwest Philly.
Is there some Hopper Johns on the plate right there for me? I want some Hopper Johns and some warm cider and some of that good old cornbread. Let me tell you something. That thing last night was a farce. There's no way in the world anybody with a half a brain is undecided by now.
Right.
That guy, that
Oh, my
reverend,
goodness.
trying to get on Trump's side. See, people don't understand how they playing this thing. He wanted to be one of them reverends that get a check. That say, you know, he's the greatest thing that ever happened to black people.
Yeah.
He's one of them reverends. He's waiting to get a little play in there. And the people asking him questions, I seen him getting all emotional, but this man has no feelings. He's like some type of psychopath. He does not feel anything for whether you black or white. People don't understand that. He's not a racist. He hates people. They got to understand.
Equally, he hates everybody equally.
Right. Well, he's willing to let his own followers come into, walking into a burning building with gasoline drawers on.
Right.
If he's willing to let them to come in there and die for him just to come to a rally, he's showing. We need to show them how he's hurting them. They don't care if they see a black person crying. We need to show white kids in cages. We need to show him going to nursing homes with white people on respirators. That's what the white people need to see, not this. We're all kumbaya, arm in arm and link. They don't want to understand that. They want to see what's happening to them, and that's how he's come across. Is like, if you follow me, we're going to America. He's lying to them again that America's going to stay white. There's no way possible it can stay white. But this is what he's convincing them. If you keep him in office, this is what's going to happen. I can see it as plain as day. So I don't know. You know, remember, Hitler was elected by Jews too. See, people don't understand that. When Hitler came to office, he was voted in. He ain't just take power. He was voted in by Germans and Jews. And
Yeah.
what he did to
True.
them. So we got to understand history. We don't understand.
True.
We need to start teaching. I don't know what we're going to do for the old heads or some of these young boys on the street, but we got to start with our kids and let them know. They got to know their civics. They got to know about elections. You got to bring them to the polls. Yeah, and they got to understand. Most of these people telling us about Harris these problems in California and Biden with this 94 crime bill, most of these people don't even vote. They just like to mouth off and do all this talking, but when it's time to be at the voting polls, they're a no-show. But they going to put their party in there telling us what to do. See, we got to get smart. Look, not only does Trump got to go, Mitch McConnell got to go because it's too easy.
And Lindsey Graham.
Gosh, Lindsey Graham.
Oh, they all got to go.
They all got to go.
That we only talking about Trump, but just imagine this: if Trump is gone and Mitch McConnell is still there, we still got a problem.
That's
Absolutely.
right. That's right.
So we got to understand.
We got to get Mitch McConnell won't be in power if we can get enough of those Senate seats.
I'm ready to move to Kentucky right now and put in a vote. How bad it is. We got to.
It is bad. It's bad.
Let me tell you something. I want to say something about you ladies. See, every time I listen to you ladies, remind me of when I used to live at 55th and Halford Avenue with my my grandmother and my grandmother. They used to sit around the dining room table. I had to sit on the floor. And we watched that 13-inch high-def black and white.
That's right. High-def.
Watching Steve Hardy on General Hospital.
Oh, my goodness.
And then you know what they say? Don't you dare repeat a word we say. So, ladies, you're doing a great job. This is the only show that makes me feel like the world is still sane. Don't ever stop.
We're gonna keep it up, and you keep calling, and you keep us honest, okay?
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maurice. Mamie from University City.
Good afternoon, my sisters.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mamie.
Thank you so much for being there. I tell you, if people are not joining WRD 900 AM, 96.1 FM, and going on Facebook, whatever media there is that promotes us, because I'm a proud member. Been a member since the inception of this.
Thank you, Mamie.
That's great.
And I just want you all to know that I'm glad you're there. Under the leadership of Sarah Lomax Reese and her siblings, and Mrs. Beverly Lomax is at the helm, and all of you and everyone, the producers, everyone at WURD is really doing an excellent job. You're all brilliant, and it needs to be worldwide. I know it goes overseas and everywhere. I hear people calling in from Australia, Germany, all these different, Africa, China. I mean, really, it is worldwide, and people don't know. You make the station stronger when you support it. It's like voting. Get off your duff.
That's right.
Register, vote, do the census.
Yes, the census is very important. We have 2 weeks left.
Yes.
That is how, that is how you get the benefits. That's how there's so many things that ride on the census, and I'm disappointed at the numbers. We've got to answer that census.
Well, listen, don't we have a car that has a PA system on it?
We can get one, I guess.
I'm sure they're out there for sure.
There are people that have them, yes.
And we need to blast this stuff.
That's right. Go through the neighborhood and tell people to come out to vote, right?
Absolutely.
Gotta do it. Gotta do it. All right, I'm going to leave.
Thank you. Thank you, Mamie, so much. Thank you. We're going to break now. You're listening to Black Women's Leadership Council on Word Radio, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on wordradio.com. We'll be right back.
This is Councilmember Catherine Gilmore Richardson. We need every Philadelphian to be counted in the 2020 census to get the funding we need to recover from the challenges of COVID-19. The census brings funding to Philly for education, healthcare, food support, public safety, and more. For every person who isn't counted, Philly loses $21,000 in funds over the next decade. You have until September 30th to get counted. Go to 2020census.gov or call 1-844-330-2020. Don't delay. Get counted, Philly.
Need a new mattress? Stop by to see Julian, the Mattress Man, located at 7421 Stenton Avenue. You deal directly with the owner, Julian, to ensure the best prices on name brand mattresses like Sealy, Posturepedic. Call 215-424-5550. That's 215-424-5550.
Good afternoon. My name is Samuel Staton Jr. I'm a Laborers International Union Vice President. I'm also the business manager of Laborers Local 332. I'm here to tell you why it's important for you to vote. Why? Because your vote puts protection on your prevailing wages. Why? Because your vote put protection on your health and welfare. Why? Because your vote put protection on your pension. Why? Because your vote put protection on your right to join a union and organize. Remember this, you are free to choose, but you are not free from your consequences of your choice. Please vote so that the great work of this great international union can continue to grow for generations to come. Thank you.
Don't forget to tune into Labor's Live every Friday from 4 to 5 p.m. on onWURD, WURD.
You're listening to The Source with Black Women's Leadership Council on Word Radio.
Streaming live on WordRadio.com and the Word Radio app.
So long, so long, so long, so long. Sitting high, I feel glistening. There's been a change. The fear hangs over my head. Search for peace through the mist of it all. What we had in old photograph. So far gone.
You're listening to Black Women's Leadership Council on Word Radio 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on wordradio.com. And we're back, and we're going to go to Gary in Southwest Philly.
Hello, good afternoon, ladies.
Good afternoon, Gary.
I'm good. You know, I just want to say I just love listening to you women. You bring it and you inform us and you encourage us to do what we need to do, and I just want to thank you so much for that.
Thanks,
you know,
Gary.
And,
You're welcome.
I wanted to say to Mary from down there, I just love when she comes on. Man, she brings the facts. She lays it out for you, so there's no, what do I want to say?
Ambiguity.
Right.
Yeah, I couldn't take it away. I'm sorry, I was lost for words for a minute there. But, we have to get out and vote. And what's so crazy, this number 45, he's playing on these individuals' racism because he cares nothing about them either. Those poor whites that are in this country, he
Of
cares
course.
nothing about them. And then when we talk about China, if you go into a store and you look at any of his clothing line, it's made in China.
Yes.
So he's using the cheap labor over there in China to make his fashion wear or whatever. I think his daughter has business over there too. But
She does.
Yeah. So he's playing on those poor whites, and they don't even see it because they're so caught up in their in their racism and their false sense of superiority.
That's right.
I watched the video they showed in the Deep South, and this guy they were interviewing. He had about 3 teeth in his mouth, and he could barely speak English. And he was talking about Obamacare and everything. Come to find out, Obamacare. It's Affordable Health Care Act. Let's stop saying Obamacare. It's just my opinion. But anyway, you're getting welfare assistance and you're getting affordable health care, but you don't want,
right.
You don't want President Obama to be in there when you're getting these benefits. So we've got to do better. We need to see, to mention about the tax returns, I'm sorry, ladies. Every elected official should expose or reveal, I should say, their tax returns. Donald Trump has filed bankruptcy how many times?
More times than we.
Hotels,
so many times.
Right, all these hotels. Look at Atlantic City. And I think, really, I saw the video clip when he and Putin were sitting together, and Putin had a look on his face like, yeah, I own you. And you can see that picture again, and Donald Trump sitting there with his head down, looking between his legs, and Putin is sitting there with a smirk on his face. Yeah, say something wrong. Stay to the script, and everything's going to be good. He owns Donald Trump.
You know what? We had a war that we lost, and it wasn't a war that was fought with bullets or bombs. We lost the war from cyber and intelligence.
Right.
Yeah.
And they understood that they don't have to fight us on the turf of big ships and all of the other stuff, because what Putin did was recognize that America had a big fault line, and the fault line that he knew that he could take advantage of was race. Because the Republicans milked that race issue from the time of the 1964 Civil Rights Bill, when they said the South was lost to the Democratic Party forever. And every presidential election, they used the wedge for race. And that was the way to separate blacks and whites and poor blacks and poor whites who were in the same boat. And they used it and they used it, and one day it turned on them. And this is the day that it turned on him, because he knew that he could exploit it. And he came in and he exploited it, and that's how he gave us Trump.
Can I say just one more thing?
Go ahead.
Hello?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, there was a previous caller that called in and requested that, more of us become members of WORD, and I agree with that 150%. Every black person in this city who's able to, they should be a member of WURD. We have to learn that we have to support our own.
Yes.
So we can do and say what we need to say.
That's right.
Okay? We shouldn't have to be holding to someone else who's kind of holding the purse strings, so to speak, because we can do everything else. We can go out and buy $250 sneakers and things like that.
Absolutely.
That's right.
We're talking about a WORD membership that is really, that's nothing, really. I would pay membership for someone, but my point is, when I joined WORD, there was a gentleman who got me involved with WORD, and you're probably familiar with him, Roscoe Draper. He's a Tuskegee Airman. That's my man right there.
Wow.
He got me involved with the WORD programming, and when I started calling in my earlier years, he would call me up with his very stately voice. Young man, I heard you this morning. I like what you said. Extremely humble man, 101 years old.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gary. Appreciate your call. Cliff from Connecticut.
Thanks for that call. Listen, I am a member, even from Connecticut, so I totally agree. And much respect to the Lomax family, correct? They are the owner.
They are the owners, and and they make it all possible.
Absolutely. So much respect to that family, and the last callers were certainly right. So I just want to end with this: is that what we're dealing with in terms of the presidency. To me, it's unfortunate. I will vote for the Harris-Biden ticket. I'm putting Harris first because she's a black woman. That's how it's supposed to be.
All right.
But unfortunately, we're going to have white women, that are Democrats, that just because of race, they might not support this ticket just because she's black. You had one black President Obama, but now to have another black female as the first president, possibly president, I think there's still hatred in this country, and people are, particularly white women, might be opposed to that. But nevertheless, I'll go ahead and vote. But then again, my vote is not directly for the presidency. It's for the Electoral College. We have electors that we're voting for to represent us. And that's the problem. I do believe that, unfortunately, even though, for example, Pennsylvania might be a Democratic state, but when you send your electors to vote in December, will they be committed to vote the same way that the state represents? And it doesn't happen. So in July, the Supreme Court ruled that the electors must now. They they must represent the state, but there's no penalty if they don't, and that's the problem.
Right.
But going beyond that, what I got to say is that the secret agenda, in my opinion, and I'll just end with this, is to oppress black people. You know, and so I think, unfortunately, what we're going to see is we're going to see Hispanics that are going to begin to discriminate against blacks. You know, we've already seen white-looking police officers, Hispanic police officers that are killing and brutalizing and also mistreating black people. But then, secondly, my wife and I was talking, you're seeing commercials with black men and white women, interracial relationships.
Yes.
And out of that, you have mulatto people. Even they feel that they are better than black people. You know, so that's just my assessment, that this whole agenda is to oppress black people, and that's what's meant by Make America Great Again, to oppress again black people, pure black people, chosen people of God, and we got to fight that. Recognize it and then fight that. Particularly, we need black preachers to speak on this. That's just my opinion. But thank you, ladies.
Thank you, Cliff.
Thank you,
well,
Cliff.
That is about dividing and conquering. We never win when we divide and conquer. We just make ourselves weaker when we do that.
Yeah.
And we just have to work hard to try to prevent the conquering in that particular way, because we can find a lot of ways to divide ourselves up, and we're never strong.
Right.
When we do that, we're always going to be weak if we do that. We have so much more in common together and being together than we do apart, and we just have to do that. And the people who up to this point have used it to exploit and hold power. If you want to hold power, then you get people to fight with each other.
That's right.
And then you hold the power, and the power is really about economic power. And that's what we see, and that's so very hard when you see people working against their own interest, and that's what's so painful that Emma and Rita and I talk about all the time. It's hard when you see black people working against their own interest, and knowing that that we're trying to take these steps forward, and knowing that we're responsible not only for ourselves, but we're responsible for our community, to feel the responsibility. You know, Emma was on a couple of weeks ago, I think it was, and you could tell her frustration because she had it with the shootings on the street. And we see these things, and it's painful, and we have to figure out a way to do something about it. But we can't do anything about it if we're going to be so divided.
That's right.
If we're going to keep ourselves divided and find ways to not like someone on some basis, I think we just have to work really, really hard on that. Go ahead.
But I really think it's important, Joanne, for us to tell the truth on this radio show and tell our community and let them know. Don't be fooled by what's going on. Even poor whites will vote against their own interests because they are interested in maintaining their white privilege. So tell the truth on the air. Tell our community, be upfront, spread a message that can unify us together.
Sometimes the way that it's positioned is that it's more, in many ways, when you look at, when you see this rabid Trump supporters, and you see some of them that are suffering, from all kinds of things that poor blacks are suffering from, and the only thing that they have to hold on to is their whiteness. It's sad.
It's sad
because that's not feeding them.
No,
that's not getting them the things that they need to move forward as a family. That's not helping them. Our lines are getting backed up again. We have Wanda on line. Wanda Davis on line 5.
Hi, ladies.
Hey, Wanda Davis.
My sisters. I have to be quick because I'm on my last break, and I have to make sure I say that because I'm sure somebody is going to hear me at work. But I wanted to say that I agree with the callers about being a member. I'm a member, got the T-shirt, got the bag, got the notebook, got the decal and
That's right.
Match. So I'll call in and be proud to call in and share. And then I want to talk about Maurice real quick. He talked about Hitler was elected. And when Edgar Howard was alive, and when I worked with him last, God rest his soul, he taught me quite a few one-vote facts. And did you know that Hitler was elected by one vote? Kennedy was elected by one vote per precinct. And the choice to decide whether we had the English or the German language was by one vote. So, yes, everybody's vote counts. And then Miss Mary said something very critical. And some of these, I appreciate all our lawmakers and elected officials, but a lot of them or some of them do not know some of the laws and some of the things in which they govern and abide by. And at some point, there's got to be a system where some of them need to be educated. And I would say a good number maybe on the bench. Not that they're educated, but just educated by certain laws. With that, I say, peace, my sisters. Let me get back to work. Love y'all.
Good hearing from you. Bye-bye. Line 1, Woody from the barbershop.
Yes, ma'am, ladies.
Good afternoon, Woody.
Good afternoon to you and all the listening audience, and I thank the Lomax family, and always throw Cody in because he was part owner there for a while, and I just love the whole family, and I love you girls. When I think about Joanne, Rita, or Emma, I think about a team. See, the team that you girls are the team of motherhood. And we all need that. Any male that tells you he doesn't, he's crazy. The first person you come out of is a female.
Absolutely.
So you have to listen to what they're saying because they were talking to you before you even came out. They were talking to you the whole 9 months that you were inside as well as when you came out. So I appreciate you, ladies. I just want you to know, and I thank you so much, and all the other women around this planet that constantly teach us. So we're all teachers. The females particularly, they're the first teachers. But we got so many young people uneducated that have passed and got diplomas in our city. Just our city alone, and I keep saying this over and over. When you're number one in poverty, that means that it ties into your educational system. And that's why I really, truly believe that all the different cultures that are coming over here come with a good 1 to 12th grade education from their countries. They then take advantage of all of the colleges. We do not have the education, and that's why so many of us can't read, write, count, or spell. So I see T-shirts actually being, if you can't read, you can't vote. That brings the attention to whether it's a politician or whoever else it is. There's a lot of voters that couldn't read, and I say this over and over. Before they changed the system from they had the straight ticket. These non-readers would go in and say that they voted because they pulled a straight ticket and came out. They felt proud, but they still couldn't read. We're not addressing this education issue because a lot of us don't understand well, you can't understand a person that couldn't read. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
People
Yes.
that can read can't understand a person that can't. So with that thought in mind, and I keep saying this because I see it every day, we need to get those voting machines now. I bought them into my shop back in January before the actual virus came out. But right now we need to get them in maybe to the churches way before the actual election occurs. Because if we don't do that, we're missing all those people that couldn't read that went in and voted straight ticket.
That's
We're
true.
going to lose all of them. So that's why we need to share, and as I shared with you before, the African American comes over here freely, gets the education, the basic education from his own country, and then takes advantage of the colleges. But the children of the former chattel slaves, the non-immigrants, they're the ones that are still suffering today. And when I hear people complain about this and that, I think about Michelle Obama, when she said, when they go low, you go high. See, another wonderful statement from a female, just to let you know that you got to keep your eye on the prize. And the prize is to try to learn. So I would love, I don't know how we can do this, but I would love to see more people get these machines before you go in to vote. Because even the questions and the answers, these people are intelligent people. They just don't have an education. So we need to do something now. And we don't need to wait to the last day and say that everybody's going to go out and vote. Because if you go in and those new machines, I'm telling you, they're more difficult, much more difficult than the other machines were.
We have to figure that out. We've been having some behind-the-scenes discussions with some of the ministers, and so I think we just have to have that discussion to see whether we can do it more broadly. And, with some of the get out the vote apparatus that's around. So we'll make sure that we deal with it.
Hurry, because again, if I have to bring them back into the barbershop again, I'll do that. But I know that the churches could be a great help, if we would get the machines in there so people won't be afraid when they finally walk in.
Right.
Those people who are slow readers, those people who used to vote, they're not going to be able to do it. They're not going to mail in for a mail-in vote. Half of them don't want people to know they can't read.
Right.
So why mail in and I can't read it? So we need to do something about this. The educational system was set up years ago to make sure that the children of the former slaves would fail. Otherwise, it wouldn't be against the law to teach the slave to read for 400 years. That spirit is with us today. So that's all I want to say, young
Thank
lady,
you.
and I look forward to hearing back from you, especially you, Emma. We'll be in touch.
All right.
All right.
All righty.
Bye-bye.
So
Thank you.
Thanks for calling in.
You're listening to Black Women's Leadership Council on Word Radio 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on wordradio.com, and we'll be right back.
I'm Joe Biden, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
But they've got the experience.
I'm still in shock 3 or 4 years later that we're in this position now. Our democracy is at a pivotal point.
From the top, we don't trust our government. We see the trouble we're in economically. We've got 170,000 Americans dead, and yet this president will do anything he can to make it seem like things are better than they are.
I did more for the black community than anybody with the possible exception of Abraham Lincoln.
It's our responsibility. If we don't lead that effort to make things better, we can't ask other people to do it. There is no good reason not to vote.
Right, we need to have individuals that are in office like Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. They are our best shot to take us forward.
And that's what makes me incredibly hopeful, but we really do have to work for this thing.
To the thousands who did not vote, we need you to show up for our future and for our country.
You cannot sit on the sidelines. You got to get in the game.
Paid for by Biden for president.
The Word Radio newsletter, keeping you informed, engaged, and connected. Sign up by visiting wordradio.com. Scroll to the bottom of the page and type your email address under Connect with Us. You'll receive the latest information on Word Radio. Messages from our president and CEO, Sarah Lomax Reese. Exclusive articles and multimedia content and resources. Stay informed with the Word Radio newsletter.
Are you hungry today? Have your taste buds been sufficiently pampered? Call Eatable Delights for succulent and juicy turkey wings, no-filler crab cakes, or tender smoky beef ribs. You can pick up curbside or get delivery in Philadelphia, Montgomery, South Jersey, Delaware, and Bucks County. Call 215-236-3900 or stop by 1540 Wadsworth Avenue. That's 215-236-3900 because even your taste buds deserve pampering. And tell them Solomon Jones sent you.
I would like to play a little tune I just composed not so long ago.
Hey family, do you like hearing the best jazz selections aired by 3 of the best jazz announcers in Philadelphia? Well, tune in to 96.1 FM,
96.1 FM,
and 900 AM, WURD Radio, independent black media for Freedom Sounds of Jazz.
Freedom Sounds of Jazz.
Hear Freedom Sounds of Jazz 10 p.m. Fridays with your hosts in rotation, Aquila, Jonathan Bay, and David Fritz. That's 10 p.m. Friday nights on WURD 96.1 FM and 900 AM, independent black media.
You're listening to The Source with Black Women's Leadership Council on Word Radio.
Streaming live on wordradio.com and the Word Radio app.
Got to pay back. Revenge. I'm mad. Got to get back. I need some get back. Pay back. Pay back. on your pump. You got to get ready for the big payback. The big payback. That's where I land. Oh, for the big payback. The big payback. I can do wheeling.
You're listening to Black Women's Leadership Council on Word Radio, 96.1 FM. 900 AM, streaming live on wordradio.com. And, you know, we were sending that out to Trump, the big payback.
Yes, we were.
Okay.
Yes,
and
we
so,
were.
That was a good one.
That was a good one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So we have our favorite person online here. We have Commissioner Omar Sabir, and he brings us the update every week because we want you to get to the polls so we can exercise the big payback.
All right.
Omar.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
How's everybody doing?
We're doing good today. How are you? You're a busy man.
Yes.
So you were on the circus, right?
Yeah, we was on the circus, MSNBC, Bloomberg.
Wow.
And then this Sunday we'll be on 60 Minutes.
Oh, my
great.
goodness now. We may not be able to book you again.
I'm always here. Listen, the black woman. I never forgot where I came from.
That's right, and you promised, Omar. You promised Miss Emma.
That's right. We really appreciate it. So we're not going to keep. We want to get right into it. So tell us where we are with the mail-in ballots now.
Okay. So as of today, we had a report in our meeting. We had 262,000 applications approved.
Okay.
And so there's another lawsuit.
Oh.
That's been going back and forth between the Green Party and the Democrats. So the Democrats don't want this Green Party presidential candidate on the ballot.
Right.
So they're going back and forth. But we feel confident within the next few weeks that the ballots should be mailed out.
So that seems like we're getting past the first week in October.
Well, I mean, you know, they filed an appeal. I mean, you know, we had the, you know, everything finished out, but they really want that Green Party candidate off the ballot because that last time in 2016, the Green Party candidate got 49,000 votes.
Right.
And as you know, President Trump won by 44,000.
Right.
So they want, you know, so we got to wait.
Yeah.
So
how are we about the drop boxes? Where are we with that?
That's still going on. That's still going on back and forth. But that should be coming. That should be coming to a close soon. Should be. Again, the Supreme Court is involved now. From the last thing I heard, and it should be.
You're talking about the state Supreme Court?
Yes.
Right, okay. Pennsylvania. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So we are also said that considering that because people, if they get the ballots by mail, and if they come, you know, late, like mid-October, then we would want to have a drop boxes to drop them off. And if not the drop boxes, then we were talking about, can we bring them down to your offices? And you said City Hall was closed. And do we need to take that up with the mayor?
Yes, you do. That City Hall is his building. We just in there. That's the mayor's restriction. You know, to have City Hall closed to the public. Again, you know, if it's open, you know, that might be something we could, you know, that's something that we can explore.
Right.
And we have to make sure that all the appropriate safety protocols are in effect.
Right.
Because if, you know, somebody from the election board catches COVID-19, you know, that would put a real damper on our election.
Yeah, well, they have to protect them. They have to protect themselves like everybody else. But the question is, are any of the doors in City Hall open?
I know you just want to make sure that everything is set up, and then, God forbid, you know, if someone does get sick, then you have to segregate certain part of your staff.
That's
so
true.
Management people, you got to put them in different places, just in case if someone does get sick. You know, and that's people. You know, when those people go out for the 2 weeks or 3 weeks, you know, you won't have management, you know, moved out. So it's. You know.
Is it a way? I mean, there's lots of ways to do it. Is segregate it out to a certain section of City Hall,
right,
and have people just come, you know, drive up and run in and drop it in the little basket. Would that be considered drop box?
I mean, you get into a legal question now. I mean, that's something that our legal I can look at and examine it.
We got to figure out a way because people want to, you know, we got to have all of these avenues for people to be able to vote. Are we having early voting?
Yes, we are.
Okay, and we haven't determined yet where those locations are going to be.
We're working on locations now. It's more of a technical connection piece. So we involved Comcast in it to get that secure connection with the shore system. Mm-hmm. But I feel very confident that we're going to have those open again. Just stay tuned in the next couple of weeks. We'll make those announcements. But we definitely should have those early voting sites up.
Good. So right now what we're looking at is mail-in ballots, the early voting, and then election day voting.
Right. So, so we'll have a hybrid election style. Again, not too many counties across the country are doing this. They're shifting all the way to mail. So, again, we plan on having 800 polling locations open. We're working hard to get that. I think the last count, we were up to 462 locations confirmed.
Oh, good.
Again, so we're still, working on different polling locations, procuring them, reaching out to different landlords, and trying to get that secure. So we might have a campaign for polling locations. Just stay tuned. I'll let you guys know depending on these next week to go.
Okay. Right.
Okay.
Now,
and then also, too, we also... So this week, we actually moved into we're starting our moving process to the Pennsylvania Convention Center.
Okay.
We have secured 125,000 square feet, which is Hall F. And we have 12 mail sorters coming in. We have new extraction machines coming. We have a whole infrastructure process going on over at the convention center where we're going to count up the ballots. We're going to sort through the vote by mail applications. We're going to print out the ballot there. That's a beautiful thing.
That is wonderful.
For that, we're going to have a ribbon cutting.
That sounds good.
I have a question, Joanne.
Go ahead.
My question, Omar, is based on one of the calls we just had. Is there training for the people so that they know how to use the voting machines? I know once before last election, we had it in my building. They had a period of training, but with all the new poll workers you're bringing in, I know you're training them. But how do we train the voters so that they know how to use it, or have somebody available to help them to use these new machines?
That's a challenge. That's a very challenge. But we actually stopped the trainings. We take them out to the community, but due to COVID-19, we had to stop them.
Oh.
So that's the issue. Whenever you bring your really bring your staff out to the public right now. So we actually stopped it. So maybe we was maybe considering doing a virtual training.
Yeah.
Or like a PSA, maybe a public service announcement.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a good idea. Or even a Zoom meeting. Something has to happen because these people need to be trained.
Definitely.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'll take that into consideration. I'll definitely get a Zoom idea. That never really crossed my mind, but.
Yeah, they're doing everything by Zoom. Why not train people by Zoom?
But you can record it. You can record the Zoom.
And do both.
Right. You can record the Zoom training and then send it out.
Yeah, you can do live and record, Omar. That would be something new you did to, historically, to get something like that going.
Yep.
Sounds good. I'll make sure to have it done by next week.
I have another question, too. Yeah. My other question is, concern is that we're forgetting about the judges running, et cetera. And some of my friends are worried that all these judges are being put in place that are dangerous to us. And so we don't talk. One of the things we need to talk about is the people who are running during this period, because we don't have information on that. And secondly, the questions. There's a question relative to judges that we need to talk about, if possible, at some point.
Well, he has to stay out of that part of it.
But just read the questions.
Oh, the ballot questions?
Yeah, the ballot questions.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe we should do that.
No, we should do that.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, we should do that.
We can do that.
We can talk about the judges, and we can talk about he has to.
Yeah, he has to stay neutral.
Stay neutral. I did want to ask you about the poll workers, and so the last time I think you were up to about 4,000.
Okay, yeah. So we're up to about 6,000 now.
Oh, good.
Oh, good.
The demand has been overwhelming, and we have so many people that's just applied. We have people to reach out to and contact. So we're pretty good on the poll workers. We've been working with, the ward leaders, the committee people, other different nonprofit organizations as well. So we look like we're going to be good in regards with the poll workers.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're going to put a little bit more energy on finding to confirm some of these polling locations, because again, some of these landlords, they don't want the traffic inside their buildings. So we have to really hunker down on that and get that squared away.
Will that take keep people in their same area?
Yeah, in that area, right. I mean, so the whole idea, we want to make we want to make it easy for people to be able to walk to their polling location. But again, if it's a ADA compliant location, and the landlord doesn't want us there, we got to find another location, which is reasonably closer.
Right.
So we feel confident that we're going to get it done. Again, like I say, we have over 450 locations. I think the number was 462. That was already confirmed, which at this time is very great.
Mm-hmm.
So everything's moving pretty good. So
So Omar, Jetty Newkirk wants to know: does early voting mean on voting machines?
No. So so it'll be like a library, right? You'll walk in. We'll have county employees from the commissioner's office. They'll have like a laptop or a computer system set up. You come in, you tell that person your name, your information, and then they'll print out a ballot, and then you'll have a private place where you can fill out that ballot, and then you turn it right back in, and that's your vote.
Got it. You want to repeat that again? Repeat that so that Jetty gets the clarity on this, because she said that she's working on some, I think she's planning a forum. So.
Oh, okay. Yes. So with early voting, and you can tell Ms. Newkirk, I'll send her an email.
Okay, good.
For talking points.
Okay.
But,
good. While you're at sending things, call Councilwoman Marion Tasco, because she's a little confused on some of this stuff too, because we talked yesterday. So I told her you were going to be on the show, but so she's ready to go, and I know that she's working with Sherelle, but getting the clarity, because she's then made her house central to a lot of stuff. Could you hold on one more second? We have to take this quick break.
Okay, go.
You're listening to Black Women Leadership Council on WURD Radio, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com.
The Dr. Emeka Show. Saturdays at 1 p.m. right here on WURD 96.1 FM and 900 AM. Streaming live at WURDradio.com and on the WURD Radio app.
Hey, WURD family. Our friends at Amoroso's Baking Company are hiring right now. Amoroso's has been baking the delicious bread in our community for over 100 years, and they want you to join their team today. The old and the young love Amoroso's, and they are hiring right now. Check it out. They offer fair pay and provide health, dental, and prescription plans after 90 days employment. Call 856-754-0355 or visit amorososbaking.com for details.
Listen to Laborers Live.
We created the weekend. We created the 40-hour work week. We just want enough to feed our family, be able to send our children to college, and let our next generation do better than we did.
To people that might have forgot how important unionism is in a country like the United States. People now infringing on our 8-hour workday, trying to work people more than 8 hours without overtime, trying to work people without benefits. In the long run, everybody's getting a fat paycheck except the worker. So this is really a wake-up call for America.
The struggle is continuous. Tune in to Laborers Live every Friday from 4 to 5 p.m. Sponsored by LESIT, the Laborers Employers Cooperation Education Trust of the Laborers District Council of Philadelphia and vicinity.
Local 332, Sam Staten Jr. Business Manager. Local 57, Esteban Vera Business Manager. Local 135, Dan Woodall Jr. Business Manager. Local 413, James Harper Jr. Business Manager. The Laborers District Council, Ryan Boyer Business Manager, and Tony Staten, Executive Director of LESIT.
This is not a fad for us. We will not resume our regular programming when things die down. We're not black to help our bottom line or because it's politically correct. We're not joining a fight. This has been our fight, our message, our people. Black lives have always mattered here. We are undeniably, indefatigably, unapologetically, permanently Black Talk Media. WURD. This is WURD Radio. 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia. Black Talk Media.
You're listening to The Source with Black Women's Leadership Council on Word Radio.
Streaming live on WordRadio.com and the Word Radio app.
We're back, and we're going to go directly to Omar again. Commissioner Sabir, so Rita had a question.
I did. Omar, this is about polling locations. Will you let us know which areas need poll locations so we can reach out to potential landlords, or landlords can reach to you and your staff? Will you update us?
Okay, sure. So every week at our Sunshine meeting, we go over the different polling locations. And if you go to Philadelphia Votes, it'll tell you, PhiladelphiaVotes.com, it'll tell you what locations we already confirmed. But if you give me your email address, I'll send you over a direct list, like where we had the vacancies at.
Okay.
Yeah, and then, like I said, we start, looking at them and examining them.
Good.
Omar.
Good.
Omar, do they pay any money to the people, to the locations?
Yes. The location gets, I think for each polling machine, I believe it's about $100 per machine you house. And then we also unanimously approved cleanup for the COVID. So I think it's like a couple extra $100 or something with that as well. Like after the machines leave, you get paid to clean the COVID. But again, I have to talk more with the polling location unit, and I'll just have a report, for the next for Wednesday. And I'll do it like that. Or maybe I can get the head of our polling locations unit on the radio. He can really explain it.
Good.
Better than me. Yeah.
That's great.
Good. So we're going to try to do everything we can to drive that vote out, and so that we make it clear to people how they can vote, whether they're going to vote by mail, and what a good cutoff date is, so that we can make sure with the mailing system being the way it is. And then sometimes, I like this early voting, and when you let us know what those locations happens to be, we can get people to go directly to those locations and vote. And then we have the election day, and it seems as though you are doing good at that with 6,000 poll workers thus far. And so I think the rest of us have to pick it up and make sure that we can get people to the polls.
Yep.
And to make sure all of those things that a massive get out the vote in order to do it. Emma, you have any further questions?
Well, yes, I wanted to know, I think Rita brought up earlier about PSAs. Are you all doing any public service announcements or announcements where, like Word Radio gets fees for making announcements and stuff like that to get out the vote?
Okay, yes. So we did the last campaign. PSAs are free.
Yes.
Right.
So what we try to do, we're trying to add, to the budget. So we're working that out right now. We want to do actual
some
buy.
ads. Yeah.
We want to make a buy with WRD. We want to make a buy. So we're working that out. So within these next couple weeks,
right.
We'll see. Again, like I said, we're still expecting some more grant money to come in. We're still applying to get that. I would really like to have $1 million campaign, to go over deadlines, let people know who wants to
Yes.
Why don't you call Mike Bloomberg up?
That's right. Call his people.
So we're working on it. Again, we knew we had to get the mail sorters.
Yeah.
We know that was important. We knew we had to secure the space. So we had to take care of those, laundry list items that we knew to carry the influx of both my mail ballots that were coming in. And one of the things that we bought this printer that be able to print out the ballots, which would definitely be helpful to us as we get closer to the deadlines.
Mm-hmm.
When people make those requests or when people need replacement ballots, we'll be able to print them in-house and mail those ballots out to people, and we're very excited about that.
So on election day, with the mail-in ballots and everything, will these new machines help process the vote quicker?
Yes, it will. So with all the equipment that we have, we'll be able to scan. If everything's working right, we'll be able to scan 200,000 ballots in a day.
Mm.
So that's pretty. It's pretty fast. Again, we saw how everything worked out with the primary. We wanted to go a little bit better. We went across the country. We talked with election experts from all the countries. We looked at different operations. And, you know, we conferred, you know, we got the proper machinery, but, you know, but we had another challenge because we didn't have the space to pit the machines. So we had to get the space, you know, to get the machines.
Right.
And then when you get in the space, you know, you got to make sure you got 24-hour security.
Yeah. Insurance. You got to get insurance.
Yeah, then we had to have insurance, they had to have everything, you know, set up. I mean, so it's been a phenomenal process. It's been learning. It's been a learning curve for me. Excited about the process, but the possibilities look very well. Again, like I say, that extra 125,000 square feet, I mean, that's a game changer. That means a lot. And I'm glad we secured it.
Right, so you can count the mail-in ballots. So, you know, there's always been well, not always, but there's been a question about being able to count the ballots and being able to give accurate numbers on election night. So what does that look like in terms of being able to report in accurate numbers from the city, the counties, and then the state?
Okay, so what it looks like is, so some people are under the impression that Pennsylvania is not going to be able to declare a winner.
Right. Exactly.
Which I mean, so to give you like more of a background of it, let's just say we have a 70% turnout. You know, which, you know, during Obama years we was in like the middle to late 60s. So to say, okay, 70%, that's 700,000 voters. And let's just say we split half and half by mail, half in person.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be 350 off the machines, 350 off the ballots. So that night, you know, we'll get the 350 from the machines. We'll have that number. We'll have that total. Depending on how close it is out in the counties, you know, we might be able to declare that winner that night. It might not be as far as what we may expect.
Right.
You know, some of these areas, it might say, oh, it's going to go one way or it might go the other way. It might not go that way. It might go a completely, totally different way. And then that number mixed in with the 350,000 off the machines, you might be able to declare, you know, that winner. Now, as the tallies come in and we start counting them up, we have a live feature on our website that you're going to see the numbers come in. So it's not like you're going to be in confusion.
Right.
You know, so as we count them, we're going to keep updating them on our website. We have a live feed. So as we scanning them and as we counting them and as we processing them, you'll see those numbers begin to change, and you'll see them numbers, you know, begin to change basically all around the state.
Right.
So again, you know, it's not going to have, you know, have to, you know, wait that long to declare the winner. You know.
Right.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's just, you know, it's just a lot of times people think, you know, Florida, you know, all over again, all over the country.
Right.
You know, doomsday scenario, you know, which may not happen.
Okay.
Well, Omar, let me just say this so that they can, you know, we are extremely happy at Black Women's Leadership Council that we supported you for this position.
Absolutely.
Because you have really lived up to it.
That's
and
right.
I mean, you really worked very hard at it. And we knew, we used to laugh when you were running, because they said that Omar is everywhere. I don't think
right.
it was. I think if any place where two or more gathered, you were there. So we said this guy's got to win, because he got to win, because he's someplace where if two or more gathered, he is there. So
he campaigned hard.
He campaigned hard.
Yes.
And we're so happy because you've lived up to every bit of our expectations, and that's
Absolutely.
what we need to see in our elected officials, that they take the oath of office seriously and do that. So we want you to know that we do appreciate what you're doing.
Absolutely, Omar.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And then, you know, my first job politically was for State Representative Louise Ames Bishop. You know, I was her driver.
Oh boy, yeah.
Oh, really?
You know, so she always would say, you know, it doesn't matter whether there's two people there, whether 3 people, you know, make sure you get there, right?
Okay.
And then after that, I worked 6 years for State Senator Benson Hughes. And again, he's another one. You know, we got to be there. We got to be out to the people. No matter what, you got to be out there. So,
right.
Yeah, got to be out there.
You know, that was good tutelage. And again, you know, you are the taxpayers, and you know, you pay our salary. We work for you. So I mean, you got to make elected officials work hard for you.
That's right.
And the main,
that's what we're doing.
Right.
Exactly what we're doing.
Right, but the main barometer that's going to make elected officials work for you is ballot participation. You know, we have to hammer home how important it is for you to vote, and the importance. You know, everybody's going to be excited about this election, but again, you mentioned about the judges. You know, next year, you know, we have the judges being elected, we have a controller, we have a district attorney.
Right.
You know, that's very important. Those positions, you know, affect
Attorney General, right?
You have a well, the Attorney General was up this year.
This year, right?
This year, okay.
Right, but I was just saying, you know, for next year. So again, it's an election every 6 months. We have to hammer that home, and we have to change the messaging about a candidate. You know, sometimes people get, you know, fired up about a candidate, but again, those ballot questions are very important. I believe there's a ballot question that's talking about whether or not we should have police reform or police reform commission, and I'm pretty sure the council people that sponsored that bill. But that's a very important issue, and I think if people truly understand how important they vote were, you know, then I think more people would do it. But again, it has to be principle-driven, not necessarily personality. Because you can love, hate somebody, you get fed up, you don't want to show up. When we start getting into principles, we start getting into policies that affect people in their everyday life.
Absolutely, yeah.
We start having a better turnout. I truly believe that.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to do everything that we can, in whether we do it as Black Women's Leadership or individuals or through the time that we spend weekly here. We're going to try to do everything that we can to raise the consciousness, give the facts, give the information so that we can have an informed voter, and we need that.
Yes.
Sure, thank you. Again, looking forward to seeing you guys next week. Again, every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday. We got
every Wednesday,
okay.
Omar.
All righty. Thank you, Omar. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
So, you know, we got to work on a few other things. You know, we're going to have the Women Connected Forum, and they're working on it, so I don't know exactly all of the details of that.
Okay.
But their effort is to get out the vote. And normally when we participate with them, it's in a physical location, and they've done a pretty good job of putting it all together. And so they're working on it now, and we're going to figure out what form we're going to do it, but we're going to cover it.
Okay.
And get that done. And then we want to talk to different people that we want to reach out to, you know, each week to make sure that we're getting, you know, issues and, you know, and even, you know, pushing down ballot candidates, not just the presidential, because it's who we have in office that protects us all the way down.
That's right.
The down ballot.
And so sometimes that message gets lost in the hoopla over the presidential race. And so I think that's so important. And so I'm glad that you both brought it up, because that's definite education for the community. They're not really thinking. They're only hearing, you know, about the presidential race. They're
Some
not
of
thinking.
them are not. You would be surprised, you know, like the way that we're informed, we're into this. And we see it as a 5-alarm fire.
Right.
There's some people that don't see that because they don't pay attention to it. My thinking is, how do you not know?
How can you not feel like this is a 5-alarm fire right in front of you that's burning out of control?
That's right.
That's right. We definitely don't.
I was talking to somebody recently, and I asked them, you know, what are they going to do? Are they going to make sure they vote? And they said, why? I don't see the difference. And I thought I would have a heart attack right there.
I know it. I know you did. I know.
Oh, my God. It was all I could do not to say something terrible. They said, I don't know why. Well, I don't see the difference. They both just keep telling these stories. You know, we have to watch what is going on in the media, and we have to watch what's going on in social media. Because one of the things that I read, I think in today's paper, Inquirer, or Daily News, that fact that the young people are sending out misleading information to the young people. And they're starting young, like in their teens, even before they can vote, that they're putting this stuff on social media and they're passing it through just like they do the mob squad, the mob meetings and all like that.
Yeah.
And so the word is, you know, misinformation is getting out and it's going to get worse before the election. So it's really incumbent upon us to make sure we get the true facts out there.
Some of it is
continue
it's
to get
extremely intentional. It's not necessarily the young people that start it, but it's the young people that get fed it. You know,
That's
the
right.
notion about the crime bill and all of these things that they use
Yeah.
there are others, there are third party interests that want to make people not vote or target certain people, so they give them the information that they think that they can weaponize it with, and therefore they won't they won't vote. We have someone on the line. We're going to go to line 2, Maurice. Maurice? Hello?
I guess he's not there.
Okay, he waited a long time.
Oh, okay.
But you know, you know, what we know is that they target it through social media, whether it's through the other social media accounts, and Facebook is really the notorious one that puts out all of that information. So we have Stephen J. from New Jersey.
Okay. Hi, Stephen.
Hello, ladies. How are you doing?
Hi,
Okay, Stephen.
Great. This is my first time calling your program, but I've been listening for quite a long time.
Well, congratulations. I wished I had the little cheers and claps and all of that. We'll have to find that.
That's right.
That's all right. I'll take whatever I can get.
Okay.
All right. You know, what we've been hearing today, everybody is right on point from their own perspective, and that's good. Okay, but one of the major things that I wanted to touch on is that not just your program, but also in other programs, whether it's Wake Up with Word or whether it's Charles Ellison or the thing is that we're focusing a lot on just the part of the demographic that deals with black, white, Latinos, and every once in a while we'll sprinkle in an Asian, some Asians, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the demographic is much broader than that in terms of people who are not happy. People who are not just simply not happy, but they're willing, because some of them, many of them, and I'll list them, who voted for him in the beginning because they came from countries that had the caste system and also
authoritarian.
Yes, and
authoritarian. Yeah,
and
they're used to that. Yep.
Right. And from countries where you had semi, if not full-blown dictatorships, all right?
Mm-hmm.
And people, all of us, tend to fall back into what we know, what we feel comfortable with.
Right.
And many felt like, well, we'll get something different because there was a real disconnect and just outright, disdain for the two parties because people felt like they weren't getting anything done. But we have to consider many others, like the East Indian, the Turkish, the Pakistani, the Jewish. And I believe Maurice earlier touched on some of the Jewish people who actually voted for Hitler. Well, they did the same thing for this guy, all right? I listened and I talked to them, all right? So, but this is changing. Not only the Sikhs, people who have lost their loved ones in mass shootings, all right? The military, special forces, their bounties were put on these people, and this guy blew it off like it was nothing.
Right.
The command staff within the military, who he pissed on all of them. Like, I run this. You may be a 3-star general, 2-star. Look, I was in the military, and one thing is for certain, they love order, all right, and their ability to command. And he's taken that away from many of them. Trust me, they are not happy. All right? When he first got into office, there's the forestry people, the national parks, and he cut funding to them to the point where many of them had to be let go. They lost their jobs and things like that.
Right.
You had also property owners near the border wall. They just took their property. Some of them, acres and acres where they had water for their livestock, they don't have access to it anymore unless they pay the government. Think about that for a minute, okay? He spat on the CIA. He spat on the FBI. Also, there have been one of the jobs I do, I work from home, and one of them, doing computer work for a company in New York. I'm 67 years old, okay, a black man, all right? And I do work for them, but I also do another job making deliveries. I'll say that, all right? And some of the people who own businesses that I deliver to, and these are staunch, conservative folk. They voted for Trump for their specific reasons. Now, I didn't go to them. They came to me, all right, and opened up conversation. And I'm just passing it along that he is also losing a portion of his base. And people, and I understand it, if they don't know, they don't know. But people aren't talking about this. And I wanted to bring this to the table so that our folks would understand we are not alone. We are not just simply ourselves and the Latinos and, and the white progressives. No. There are many who voted for him who are not voting for him this time. And now, think about it. He's running around the country nonstop, trying to marshal and trying to keep together his base. That's for a reason, because the apparatus that has him in place understands that he's not looking too well among his own. Don't get me wrong, there's the ones that are diehards. They're going to be there no matter what. I get that.
Right.
But there are many who they believed in a certain thing. But now that they're seeing what they're seeing, they're saying to me, this isn't right. I didn't sign on for this. All right. So he's losing a good portion of his base. And not only that, but we have to remember, and I'm not going to list them all because there's just too many, people, business people who've been cheated out of their money, okay, dealing with this guy through the years. And the list can go on and on and on. What I'm saying to you, yeah, these are small pockets individually, but together they make a huge chunk of the voting population. And that's why they are busy nonstop trying to just destroy the voting process and the mailing process and anything else they can, because they know, even among his own, he's in deep doo-doo. All right?
Really?
So yeah. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Well, Stephen, what we want you to do, where you are in Jersey, we want you to keep being the Pied Piper.
That's
we
right.
want you to keep them talking, keep them moving them towards the polls, because we got to get rid of them, and we need every sane person who understands and who's informed to be able to do something, because right now we are at the dangerous point. We appreciate your call. We appreciate your call, Stephen. We got to go to break. You're listening to Black Women's Leadership Council on WordRadio.com, 96.1 FM, 900 AM. We'll be right back.
Recovery starts with a call. Pennsylvania's Substance Use Disorder Hotline is staffed by real people who are trained to help. They're here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They'll get you or your loved one into treatment regardless of your access to insurance. If you or someone you know is suffering from addiction, call 1-800-662-HELP. Recovery starts with a call.
Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Want the latest in Word swag? Check out the shop tab on WordRadio.com. Hoodies, tees, and more in a variety of colors. The shop tab on WordRadio.com. Show the world that you're all about black. Talk Media.
You're listening to The Source with Black Women's Leadership Council on Word Radio.
Streaming live on WordRadio.com and the Word Radio app.
You're listening to Black Women's Leadership Council on Word Radio, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WordRadio.com. We want to give a shout out to Anita Green, Mrs. Anita Green. We love your son, okay? Your son is Councilman Derek Green, and, you know, he's a friend of Black Women's Leadership, and we truly appreciate all that he does and is as informed as he is. And we need to hear from you because we know you listening. So, you know, we want you to call in. And don't worry, we're going to preserve your reputation because I know you got a good reputation. You won't lose it too much with us. But thank you so much for listening to us. We're going to go to line 3, Maurice.
Hey, ladies.
Hey, how you doing, Maurice?
Ladies. How's everyone?
All right.
Doing good.
All right. I just want to make a couple points and ask a question.
Uh-huh.
And one of the things that Woody was talking about was equity. Then you had a caller, I think his name was Rick, and he was giving up some data. And then Rita spoke about truth. But one of you ladies spoke about why people were getting tax abatements and tax credit and all these different things they get. I don't know what you spoke, but someone said it. And it refers back to my question about a month ago. What is America? What is America about? And why was it important for 40 acres of meal? These people get tax brackets and tax abatements because they own land, they own wealth. Not that when you see people like Donald Trump and Mitt Romney and them, not that they might have did something wrong in their taxes, but because they own so much wealth and land and property, they pay very little taxes. And they don't want that exposed. That's the tax loophole that the poor got stuck with when they voted for 1935. That's what that thing is. So the question I have to the ladies today, Ms. Emma, do Donald Trump own anything, or do his name as a licensed branding company where he loan his name for a certain amount of fee?
He does that.
Okay.
He does that.
So he don't own anything. So when something collapses, it's not his collapse. People pay to use his name to have it on whether it's a golf course or a hotel. There's other people that own his stuff. He just rent out his name.
Yeah, but he gets a branding fee, brands these things. But
right, so that's up front. That's right. He gets a branding fee, so that's up front. So that's why I asked you, does he own it? Is he losing anything, or is he gaining? So the thing is, you know, Rita said we have to put the truth out there. We have to throw the truth in this totality, in the history. And that way we can come to a conclusion. We can disagree or agree with someone, even if we don't like them. That don't stop us from voting for them. We just know the truth.
Right.
And the truth got to be around a policy. And when somebody just talk about the different segments, there's a segment in America that these people hurt, and that they hurting from. And nobody addressed that segment. And one of the ladies says she go to the Y, she hears certain things. She hears because she's on the ground. And this is the segment that's being talked in barbershops and hair salons and on the street corner. You might not listen to hip-hop, but them young boys be talking about this stuff in their hip-hop, in their spoken word. So because we don't hear it, don't mean it ain't being talked about, because they looking at it from a different view, a point of view and lens. So we have to be mindful of that.
That's true.
November 3rd and 4th going to tell. You know, people been hurt. So we'll see what's going to happen. Well, everything we know is what is going to happen. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Maurice. We're going to go to Yusef on line 2 from Oak Lane.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Yusef.
Yes, I was listening to you earlier when you was speaking about how can somebody say that they want to, they are not decided on who they're going to vote for between Trump and Biden.
Right.
Well, they had a host on this station who used to come on this program called The Source, and he would always speak against Biden, and he was a deacon or something. He was a Christian, and he would speak against Biden. He would come up with all these tapes that Biden said this. And I thought, well, maybe some of those pastors listened to that, and that might have had an effect on their thoughts about voting for Biden, because, people listen to this thing, they watch TV, and they hear and they see things, and when somebody, downrates a person like that, then they become undecided. I mean, I'm not sure if that's the reason, but I figured maybe that's one of the reasons why they're undecided as to between Trump and Biden. We both know that, there is basically no decision that, that this guy in the office now, he has to go. But some people just don't have that kind of intellect where they can not be influenced by what other people say. That's what I'm trying to say.
True. That's very true.
He's talking about ads, television ads. Do that all the time.
Yep, and people can't decipher what's true and what's
right.
not.
What's true and what's right and what's not.
Right, and that's why Trump has been so successful with his rhetoric. He lies and he tells and he makes things up, and people believe it because they can't decipher. They don't know what's true and what's not. They can't figure it out for themselves.
Yes,
and if they're not involved, all they go by is what the ads say. And
right.
These guys put
That's
up
right.
a lot of money and put a lot of money out there and put these negative ads just like they're doing on social media.
And one more thing I want to say before you leave. Look, when you play your music themes, I want to thank you for playing black people's music. A lot of radio hosts, black radio hosts, be on, and they'll put on Led Zeppelin and stuff like that. Led Zeppelin is one of those race-based rock bands there is. They got a song called Black Dog. And if you read through the line, they never mention with a black dog, the word black dog in their song, but they say, hey, hey, mama, I like the way you move. And they're talking about the black woman.
Of course.
Thank you for playing black people's music and not playing that old race-based stuff by AC/DC and all that little crazy stuff. Because it's race-based. They get those rock bands to sing songs, and those people go to those concerts to hear them sing those racist songs. I'm saying? And then I see black people walk around and they hear that music and they like the sound of the guitar and all that. They just don't realize how racist that stuff is.
No, we got a message in our music.
That's right. That's right.
Every song, right, Joanne?
Yes, message in our music. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Yusuf.
Thank you. We're going to go to line 1, George from Center City.
Ladies, good evening. How are you?
Good evening, George.
Good evening, George.
No, I really appreciated last week the way y'all handled that whole violence piece. You know, it's like you really send a good message to people to understand. But until, like we say, until we can convince those people down there that hate to race it up on Caroline Road to, do your job, stop this, it's only going to get worse. But with the way the black women's leadership is going and keep putting it out there, it's like everybody got to be silent. It's like, don't talk about that. Leave that violence alone. I don't want you, don't mention that. They afraid their check's going to get cut off if they talk about it, But when y'all talk about it, at least you bring it up in a context of letting people understand what it really is and what we have to do. Not about their paycheck. Right now, all of them are shivering in their boots. They scared to death that Kenny going to cut them off, because if they, Do you see anybody saying anything about it?
No, but they're elected. Kenny can't cut them off.
The elected ones. We're talking about the ones who get paid to do their job.
So are you familiar with the fact that they're having some sort of ongoing conference now, and they did their first one on violence?
And listen, what a waste! What a waste!
Really?
Oh.
Yeah.
No, let me hear your reasons.
Let me put it like this here. If you can't do it, or if you're not, let me say it like this here. And you understand this better. Josh Shapiro is the best next to Trump there is. You see how he stage all these things when he do raids? He do gun raids. He do drug raids and all that there. If they want to shut all this stuff down and if they want to stop it, they can. They don't want to. They want to sit there and keep having conferences and talk about what we can do, who we can fund, who's going to get this. It's like the school board. It's about contracts, friends, and jobs. That's all it's about. They put.
So, George, here's what I want to ask you. George, here's what I want to ask you, because how would you handle the violence at this level that we have now, that's indiscriminately killing women, pregnant women, babies, children, and our young people? What would you do?
What you're saying would be first of all, any man in his right mind, when you cross that line of kids and children and women, you're supposed to be dealt with. Period. That's the rule. But, now that the police are not doing their job, people feel good about riding around. They don't even hide guns in their car no more. Why? Because you're not going to get stopped. It's two things you got to make up your mind. Either you want the cops to do their job, stop and frisk, get these guns off the street, or put the fear of God in these guys that's going around running down. Now they so bold, they walk down the street like it's open carry. You see guys, they got their undershirt and they got their gun under it. It's like they feel free to do that. You know why? Because the police is not going to do anything.
Well, it is an open carry.
So let me just say to you, so are you saying that the brutality that we saw with the stop and frisk, you agree with stop and frisk indiscriminately, anybody?
No. They know, listen, they know who to stop and they know who has what. Trust me. Those
but that's not what they were doing. They were stopping everybody.
Wait a minute. We're talking about what they were doing and what they would have to do now. Remember, it's cameras. It's a whole different era now. You know, unless you want to lose your job and your pension, then you go doing something stupid. There's very few cops that do anything in Philadelphia now. All they do is come to work and go home. Ain't nobody. Let me tell you, when Swain and Krasner and the rest of them get together after this pandemic is over, watch how many federal cases it be with guns. They're gonna go. They know where everybody is who's getting these cases. They're gonna all send them right on over down there to Sixth and Market. They're gonna end up getting 120 months to plead out to, or 240. If you're a convicted felon with a gun, they're gonna say, "Hey, buddy, plead out to this 240. You go to trial, you're gonna get 480." We're talking about months. They give you something to think about. But if you're in these streets every day, you know what's going on. You see it. The police is not doing their job. And they keep telling you, man, I'm not losing my pension. Hey, look, they sit up there and take all the pictures they want. I'm only going to do what I have to do. But Kenny understands it, and he hears it. But the question is he going to do anything about it? I doubt it. Until you make these, and it's not like council can do anything. If somebody has to make the cops do their job, and the only one that I know can make them do their job is like the one who's telling them to just mind your business, do what you got to do, it's McNasby. And the same people who offended him is the same people going to have to go there and sit down and make peace with him. You may not like to, but sometimes you have to do what you don't like to do.
Well, we'll just have to agree to disagree. But I needed to know your point of view.
But, you know, your point of view is good, too. But the point is, you do what you got to do to stop kids from getting killed, women from getting killed. Because right now, these crazy people running around with these guns, they don't care about anything until they're stopped. It's like you got a wild animal. Until you tame them or cage them, they're going to still do the same thing. If you got a rabid dog out there, what do? Put it down, or you catch it and, you know, do whatever you got to do.
So we gotta go to a break. But just before I go to break, I remember the days when a number of years back when the Fruit of Islam had a security I guess force, and when they came out to the streets, they really had what you might call it tight, and they knew who to go for. And,
that's right.
And we didn't have any real problems. And so if we could return to the days where the people who understand the streets,
that's right,
and know the streets, could patrol the streets, it would be a whole bunch different. I thank you for your call. You're listening to Black Women's Leadership Council on WordRadio.com, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, and we'll be right back.
The North Star Convention is a statewide event where concerned citizens, lawmakers, union, and community leaders are collectively working together to create an agenda that will address systemic issues in the Black community throughout the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Thursday, September 17th, from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., Councilman Isaiah Thomas and Aliquippa Mayor Dwan Walker will be hosting a forum on education. Go to NorthstarConvention.com to register for the free convention. PECO has many ways to help you lower your energy usage and save money at home. Here's one. If your heating and cooling system is more than 20 years old, it may be time for your contractor to replace it with a high-efficiency Energy Star certified model. You'll get a rebate from PECO and save on your monthly electric bill. You'll find a list of new heating and cooling system rebates at PECO.com/rebates. Or you can call 1-888-5-PECO-SAVE for all the details. Plus, find instant discounts on smart thermostats and more at PECO.com/marketplace. There's free shipping on orders over $49.
Word Radio presents the following wellness tip to support our listeners with mindfulness and motivation as we continue to navigate the pandemic together.
Hi, this is Halana, your resident health and wellness coach, with tips to help you stay well. Many of us have heard this term before, but may not know what it really means. Compassionate living. brings mindfulness and peace to the center of your daily life. Compassionate living can look like this. Number 1, be gentle with yourself and those around you. Number 2, choose to speak kindly to others, even when you're upset. Number 3, become a good listener and practice empathy at home and at work. We sometimes think in order to live with compassion, we have to become someone else. Not so. In fact, allowing peacefulness to be at the center of our daily interactions is something we can practice every day. Go ahead and try it today. Stay well with Word. Happy living.
Stay well with Word. Connect with us at wordradio.com.
You're listening to The Source with Black Women's Leadership Council on Word Radio.
Streaming live on wordradio.com and the Word Radio app.
All right. Ooh, yeah. Well, oh yeah. Here we go, y'all. Sing a little message out to those of y'all who feel like you're struggling. Yeah. It's a simple song. Yeah. Yesterday, a man stared to me, said, how can you smile when your world is crumbling down? I said, here's my secret. When I wanna cry, I take a look around and I see that I'm getting by, and I hold on. Hold on. Change is coming. Change is coming. Hold on. Hold on. Don't you worry. Don't worry about a thing. Hold on. Hold on. You can make it. You can make it. Hold on. Hold on. Everything will be alright. Some people like to worry. Some people like to hide. Some people like to run away from the pain inside. Now it's your business. Do whatever you wanna do. But if it don't work out, here's what you ought to do. Now just hold on. Hold on. Change is coming. Change is coming. Hold on. Hold on. Don't worry about a thing. Hold on.
You're listening to Black Women's Leadership Council on Word Radio, wordradio.com, 96.1 FM, 900 AM. And we're back, and we have a caller. Now, I'm going to say it now, but you're going to have to explain it to me when I put you on. On line 1, we got Spread Love.
Uh-oh.
Are you there?
God bless, ladies. How are you today?
Okay, you got to explain this name to me now.
You know what, Empress? Give thanks. It's a name that came back in the 90s. Well, you know what? Well, first and foremost, thank y'all for your show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Give thanks for the WRD family. Of course, our brother Jordan on the boards, always doing an amazing job.
Yes, he
Absolutely.
And, you know, our hearts go out to all the victims right now of everything that we're suffering, both systematically and environmental with the fires and the hurricane.
Yes.
And the hearts go out to all the incarcerated.
Yes.
Yes.
You know, they're trapped, especially all the immigrants. A lot of things we don't talk about is a lot of people trapped in immigrant incarceration. 40%, I believe, are black from African countries. Brother Charles Ellison yesterday mentioned how they're forcing women to have hysterectomies.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah, so it's a serious time right now.
What?
A lot of these are for-profit corporations that have these contracts to house the immigrants, and they have been not policed in the way that they should. And then from the for-profit ones, they then hire like medical staff and stuff. And so there was a brave black woman who filed a whistleblower complaint saying that some of the immigrant women were having unnecessary hysterectomies. And they can't.
Oh my God!
The Congress people were trying to watchdog people were trying to get into some of these immigration centers to see how the treatment of the kids and women and children and everyone. I'm afraid.
Oh my God!
I'm afraid that when we are finally able to know the story, it's going to be so horrible.
It is.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
If this is leaking out now, you can.
It's been since they caged the children and all of the horrendous things. And I don't know that we have gotten to the tip of the iceberg. Do we still have Spread Love here?
Yes.
Go ahead.
So I'm always with you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Give thanks. Did you want me to explain? Or
Yes.
you want me to...
Yes, please. I'm very curious.
Okay, most certainly. And I also wanted to make a comment, if that's all right, too.
Go ahead.
All right. Spread Love. Before I was Spread Love, my name was Nomad, because that's what I was running around mad. But then Give Thanks. I don't know if you're familiar with the 5% Nation from back in the day.
Yes, I am.
Yes.
Thank you. One of the principles on love is first you got to go through hell in order for it to be right. So thankfully, God blessed me with the gift of evolution where Nomad became Spread Love. And it's been Spread Love ever since. And that's just a synopsis. Maybe later we can talk about it. But I'd like to, if that's all right, I'm not trying to be rude, but does that satisfy? Does it suffice?
It does. I understand.
Give thanks. And also, I'm sorry I'm tuning in late, but I wanted to make a comment regarding efforts to stop the violence.
Go ahead.
Is that all right if I make one real quick?
Go ahead, please.
Thank you. Empress, I can speak from personal experience on what stopped me from wreaking havoc, and that's reading my Bible and taking Jah words seriously. And I would couple that with also repentance. You got to repent. That's the key right there. Seriously. But also I would couple that with the fact that I was also blessed with a working knowledge of true black history, world African history, and, the revelation and the facts of Jah Christ being black and the earliest renditions of the Black Madonna and the Black Child, Black Christ, and how this is the cover-up. And I put that forward to our people, especially the youth, because I think once we can help them understand how we all are, especially them right now, being lied to and manipulated, that, they're going to say, well, hold up, wait a minute, what's going on? When you realize you're getting taken for a sucker, you're going to think about things a little different. You know what I mean?
Of course.
And then on top of that, it would help pull up the skirt on the real sinister things we've endured in this country at the hands of these people. There's enough information available where it can be plain knowledge and doesn't have to get termed conspiracy theory, so that we can arm and equip ourselves with a true identity. And once we have that, we'll have love for ourselves and each other. Thus, spread love. I'm not going to talk too long, but thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you
for
calling.
Thank you. There was someone who asked us to repeat the statement that we made about the Nation of Islam, because they said that it was cut off.
Yeah.
So the statement was that years ago, there used to be what I would call I guess there would be a protection force or something like that, that would work in the community. And I think that they were doing public housing,
right?
And they were actually being hired. And then it came to a point where, because of the controversy around Minister Farrakhan, that they lost all of these contracts. But when they were doing it in different cities,
right,
they were able to clean up these areas, and they did a very good job. I don't even think they carried guns or anything like that.
No.
But I thought that we need something like that today, whether it is the Nation of Islam or someone else, people who are able to work in the communities, that know the communities, returning citizens who have turned their lives around, and a combination of people to come back, because you have to work with people that who relate to the people.
Exactly.
And I think that's what's missing, and that's the point that I was making. That's what I was saying.
Absolutely.
So we're coming down to the end of the show. Let me start with you, Rita, then we'll go to Emma.
Well, I think that the show was a very good show today. As always, Omar comes on and he has a lot of good information that the community needs, that they're looking for. It's very confusing as we get closer to Election Day. I think it's going to continue to be more confusing as confusing messages are sent out to the public to confuse. So one of the things that I just want the listening audience to remember today is to seek the truth and know when you're being lied to or things are being fabricated or made up to inflame certain communities, and stick to the truth. Stick to the truth. Remember, coronavirus is still out there. It's almost 200,000 deaths. We're over 6 million cases in the United States. Coronavirus is still real. Protect yourself. Wear your mask, social distance, and use hand sanitizer. Stay safe, everyone.
Emma?
Yes, I too think it was a great show. We got a lot of good information out there. I just wanted to mention a couple of things. First, to extend our sympathy to Malik Aziz's family.
Yes.
You know, he passed away and he was an advocate for returning citizens. And I thought we ought to definitely send our sympathy because he worked very hard in the community, which is what we've been talking about. And I'm happy to say that Breonna Taylor's family settled for $12 million with the city of Louisville, Kentucky. Now, we're sorry for her passing. I know $12 million is not going to make up for her life, but for once, the family got something out of that. They just didn't get, and the one guy was fired, but the others didn't get fired.
We're still waiting for an arrest.
Right.
Yeah, we're waiting for that. And so I just want to thank Omar. He always comes on, like Rita said, with great information. And it's the kind of information we need to get people out to vote. That's the bottom line here. We got to get out to vote.
Get out and vote.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll see you next week with some more chock full of information.
Absolutely.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Omar, for coming on. And thank you, Jordan, for being so patient. We tell jokes, in between. And, and Jordan is like, I'm in here with these old ladies, and they are crazy, okay?
Jordan is cracking up the whole time.
He's been cracking up the whole time. But we appreciate you.
We do. We love you, Jordan.
He likes teasing me from afar.
Yes, he does.
He does.
I'm upsetting when I see him, too. Thank you.
All right. See you next week.
Bye-bye, everybody. Bye now.